are providing new information about what happened, as well as the names of the two people who were killed. KSL News Radio's Adam Small with the latest.
We've learned the two men who were killed in the shooting were 38-year-old Sione Vatuve and 46-year-old Vaya Tuliki Hihifo. Police are also now telling us they feel confident there was more than one person involved in this shooting in what they described as an exchange of gunfire.
There are people involved in this incident who have been less than cooperative, and we're still working to identify all who were involved.
Salt Lake City Police Chief Brian Redd says 5 of the wounded are still in the hospital, but at this point he says they are expected to survive. Another person who was shot has already been treated and released.
We again express our condolences to the families and those affected by this senseless tragedy.
Chief Redd says they've received some sort of indication some of those involved in this shooting were involved with gang activity, but they're still working to determine the actual cause or motive for the fight and the gunshots. Police are still asking anyone who might have information or video footage to give them a call. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
In other news that we are following this afternoon, a man is dead following a crash involving a Utah Highway Patrol trooper in Utah County. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera has what we know so far. Eric?
Maria, this happened last night near Lake Mountain Road and Pole Canyon Boulevard. The Utah County Sheriff's Office says a UHP trooper was driving through the area around 9:40 last night when he hit a man who was walking along the road with a woman. The man died at the scene. The woman he was with wasn't hurt. Because the crash involved a trooper, a separate team from Utah County is now handling the investigation. We did reach out for updates, but investigators told us there are no new details to share right now and that the investigation is still ongoing. Live, Eric Cabrera, KSL News Radio.
A woman has been arrested after Salt Lake City police say she hit 3 kids in a crosswalk because she couldn't see through the frost on her windshield. Jamie Barnard is accused of hitting the two 12-year-olds and 13-year-old around 9th East and 9th South. One of the kids was seriously injured. The other 2 were taken to the hospital with minor injuries. Police say Barnard immediately left the scene and has not given many details to police about the accident. A man in Farmington has been accused of reckless endangerment after police say he led an off-road chase against 3 kids on bikes. KSL News Radio's Cameron Elliott has more.
72-year-old Brigham Greg Gardner says he just wanted to talk to the parents of 3 children he saw riding bikes down Countryside Road in Farmington. But according to booking documents, when the kids took off, he took off after them. He chased the 3 kids off-road, across fields, and down bike paths, and one child was even injured after he fell off his bike during the chase and sustained multiple bruises as well as road rash. Gardner says he was just concerned for the children's safety after hearing about a death involving a similar bike.
Gardner is being charged with 3 counts of reckless endangerment with a road rage enhancement. KSL's top national stories this hour. The Senate is moving forward on a resolution that would prevent the further use of U.S. military action in Venezuela. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy has the latest.
The measure, crafted under the 1973 War Powers Act, aims to prevent the president from using the U.S. military in Venezuela going forward without congressional authorization. Co-sponsor California Democrat Adam Schiff.
If we don't stand up not just for our branch of government, but for the American people, there is no telling and no stopping what comes next.
But even if both houses were to send the resolution to the White House, aides say President Trump would veto it. It would then take a 2/3 vote in both houses to enact the restriction into law. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
President Trump is voicing other plans for the country. ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers has details.
President Trump told the New York Times that, quote, only time will tell how long the U.S. would maintain control and extract oil from Venezuela, indicating it would be indefinite. The president saying he thinks it will be much longer than a year, but that the U.S. will rebuild the infrastructure there in a, quote, very profitable way. President Trump wouldn't say when he thinks elections would be held in Venezuela. Opposition leader Maria Corina Machado has said she wants to return to her country as soon as possible, but the president's questioned whether she could lead, saying she doesn't have the support or respect within Venezuela. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Breaking news on KSL News Radio. The interim government in Venezuela is promising to release an important number of political prisoners today, days after the arrest of President Nicolas Maduro. But they didn't say how many prisoners would be freed. It's estimated that Venezuela's prisoners hold somewhere between 800 and 900 political prisoners, people jailed because of their disagreement with the government. First look traffic. Good afternoon, Ricky.
Good afternoon, Maria. Well, a snow squall came through in parts of Weber County, and now we have traffic at a crawl northbound I-15 going from Roy into Riverdale, plus the cleanup of a crash in Taylorsville, eastbound 4700 south at I-215's West Belt. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:05.
Every January, Duke's Jewelers celebrates another year serving the Springville community. And this year, they're doing it in a big way. It's the anniversary sale. And for 3 days only, January 22nd through 24th, all jewelry in the store is 50% off. That's right, half off everything in the case. Diamonds, gold, colored gemstones, signature pieces, everyday favorites. If it sparkles, it's on sale. And that's not all. For those dreaming up something one of a kind, special orders, custom design projects, and all watches are 25% off. Duke's Jewelers is proud to be a fourth-generation family-run business, and this sale is the Duke's way of saying thank you for supporting local, choosing Main Street, and trusting Duke's Jewelers with your most meaningful moments. But don't wait. These savings last just 3 days, January 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. Visit Duke's Jewelers on Main Street in Springville and shop the biggest sale of the entire year. Duke's Jewelers. Elevate every moment. Some exclusions apply.
A 15-year-old girl who chewed through a rope to escape a serial killer.
I used my front teeth to saw on the rope in my mouth.
The killer prowled the Pacific Northwest in the early 70s. He's been convicted of murdering 2 young women, but suspected of many more.
Maybe there's another one in that area.
Follow and binge all episodes of Stolen Voices of Dole Valley, available now wherever you listen.
Hi, I'm Joe Cordell of Cordell & Cordell, America's largest family law firm. During this time of year, difficult relationships sometimes become impossible. If you or someone you care about is facing a family law issue, let us set up a 1-hour Cordell Consult. The Cordell Consult is a meeting with a local attorney who will give you clear guidance about your options, whether it's a separation, a postnuptial agreement, divorce, or custody. Take the first step. Visit CordellCordell.com. That's CordellCordell.com.
Thank you for joining us for Midday, recapping our top story. Police are looking for suspects in the shooting last night at a Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints meeting house in Salt Lake. They believe shots were exchanged. KSL News Time, 12:08. U.S. Secretary of Education Linda McMahon is granting a first-of-its-kind education funding waiver in Iowa. It moves the Trump administration closer to its goal of transferring education power and decision-making to the states.
We have cut old contracts that waste enriching private parties at taxpayer expense, suspended grants for illegal DEI programs, and now are putting forward a responsible budget request that reduces department funding by more than 15%. At the same time, we're working to make American education great again.
The waiver allows some federal requirements to be dropped, so it's easier to get and use the money. ABC News confirms the department is also working with 6 other states to do the same. University of Utah has plans to make their affordable course materials program more accessible. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis has more.
Last fall was the first time the Utah Day One Book Access program automatically enrolled all students into the highest tier option, giving all students full course material access for $259. The program manager says this saves students a combined $300 million per semester, but to help more students fully utilize the program, they'll be making instructional videos, which they hope to have ready by this next semester.
They also say they plan to automate the system to make it faster for students to get their books and materials. Salt Lake teens will have the opportunity to get free formal wear thanks to Salt Lake County Libraries. KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson has more.
The library is hosting a formal wear exchange where people can donate gowns and suits. Then local teens get to come pick their favorites. Public Relations Coordinator Marissa Hodges says if you donate, you get $5 toward library fees and some other perks.
You also get a VIP voucher so you can attend the swap early on selection days. We reserve the first hour of the swap only for people who have donated, so they are the first to pick.
It's a way to help kids afford clothing for their upcoming winter formals and proms, and it promotes upcycling. All Salt Lake County libraries are accepting formal wear that's in good condition for the rest of the month, and then the exchange is being held February 21st at the Sandy Library. Britt Johnson, KSL News Radio.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. People helping people. Love where you bank. And here's Ricky Meese.
We have the cleanup that continues of the crash blocking left lanes in Taylorsville. Eastbound 4700 south at I-215's West Belt. You can get around it by staying to the right. A new accident southbound on Redwood Road at the 21st South Freeway. It's right at the junction. It's getting moved over to the right shoulder. A crash on southbound I-15 in Pleasant Grove by the boulevard, also getting moved to the side. And then also for northbounders on I-15 in Davis County, an earlier accident approaching the Highway 89 junction in Farmington. But a little further north, we really had traffic come to a crawl. Going from Clearfield through Roy and into Riverdale to the I-84 junction due to weather that came through, just coated the road and slowed everything down. Another spot where that happened, a snow squall came through in the Cottonwood Heights area, and they've shut down 2300 East just south of Fort Union Boulevard due to multiple crashes in that spot. No matter the weather, your feet can feel fantastic. Find the Good Feet location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Hey, much colder today with a high of 37. Most of the snow showers will be first half. Second half, things start to die out. Overnight tonight, chance for some snow showers west into Salt Lake Valley and even into Tooele. 22 will be the low. 34 tomorrow afternoon, looks dry. We'll go to 37 on Saturday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Well, those showers moved in, and yes, the temperatures have dropped down into the 30s. Snow showers and 36 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City. Coming up on Midday, we'll hear the latest on the redistricting appeal. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Cars for Kids, KARS, Cars for Kids, 1-877 Cars for Kids, donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids, donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS for Kids to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS for Kids. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids, KARS, Cars for Kids, 1-877 Cars for Kids, donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org.
Meet Lee Platts, a renter whose possessions fill not only her apartment, but also the darkest corners of a mini storage unit. A land of both truth and fiction. Truth, everything inside is protected by Progressive. Fiction, one day Lee will fit into her clothes from senior year of high school. Renters, discover coverage for what you love and what you can't get rid of in Progressive's Protection Zone. Get a quote at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company affiliates and third-party insurers.
Are you 50 or older? This news is for you. The CDC recommends you get vaccinated against pneumococcal pneumonia. Even if you're healthy, your age puts you at risk. People 50 or older are over 6 times more likely to be hospitalized with pneumococcal pneumonia compared to adults 18 to 49. Just one shot can help protect you. Learn more and schedule at vaxassist.com. That's VAXassist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
Utah is one of the best places to live, work, and raise a family. But for many Utahns, the dream of owning a home is slipping away. Home prices have risen faster than incomes, and families are spending nearly 2/3 of what they earn just to keep a roof overhead. From young graduates to grandparents, everyone is feeling the squeeze. Utah needs more homes, the right kinds of homes, so families can stay close and our communities can thrive. That's why Utah Workforce Housing Advocacy created Demand More Supply, a statewide effort helping Utahns understand the issue and take action in their own communities. Because when we work together, we can make housing affordable again for today's families and for future generations. Let's make the dream of owning a home a reality again. Learn more and add your voice at demandmoresupply.com. Demandmoresupply.com. That's demandmoresupply.com.
KSL News Time 12:15. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
police are now telling us they are looking for multiple suspects involved in a deadly shooting outside a church building in Salt Lake City last night. We're also learning the names of the two men that were killed. I'm KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
Second, the interim government in Venezuela is promising to release an important number of political prisoners today, days after the arrest of President Nicolas Maduro. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
Restrictions in place for both Big and Little Cottonwood Canyons, where the snow has come down. Some areas of those roads are snow-covered at this time. In the valley, some wet roads from snow squalls that have come through, but right now the precipitation seems to have eased. Just be aware of wet driving conditions. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Snow showers expected, especially the first half of the day. Look for a high of only 37. I'm Matt Johnson.
Light snow, 36 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time for KSL's top national stories.
From ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Protests continuing in Minneapolis following yesterday's fatal shooting of Renee Good by an ICE officer in the streets. Video capturing those moments that Good is in her vehicle. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem says the officer acted in self-defense. Vice President J.D. Vance agreed, accusing the media and protesters of inciting violence against the ICE officers.
What you see is what you get in this case. You have a woman who was trying to obstruct a legitimate law enforcement operation. Nobody debates that. You have a woman who aimed her car at a law enforcement officer and pressed on the accelerator. Nobody debates that. I can believe that her death is a tragedy while also recognizing that it's a tragedy of her own making.
Witnesses on scene say Good was trying to drive away from officers, not toward them. And Governor Tim Walz says it's too soon in the investigation to conclude anything.
From the president to the vice president to Kristi Noem have stood and told you things that are verifiably false, verifiably inaccurate. They have determined the character of a 37-year-old mom that they didn't even don't know.
Testimony has resumed in the criminal trial of Adrian Gonzalez in Texas, a former Uvalde police officer charged with child endangerment in the 2022 Robb Elementary School shooting. That after the judge denied the defense request for a mistrial. Defense attorneys say prosecutors failed to disclose a change in a former teacher's testimony. ABC's Peter Haralambous is at the trial in Corpus Christi.
It's a big slip up for prosecutors to make that kind of mistake. They were spared a mistrial yesterday, but now it's looking like the judge is going to be throwing out that testimony in its entirety, which is kind of vital for prosecutors because this is one of the very few witnesses who places the shooter close to the defendant, Adrian Gonzalez.
The first severe storm of the year targeting parts of the South with a mix of damaging winds, hail, tornadoes, and flash flooding possible in the coming days. You're listening to ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth, and let's get up to date on the very latest in the redistricting case. The Utah legislature has appealed the redistricting case to the state Supreme Court. The host of Inside Sources, Holly Richardson, is joining me live in studio. So this is a very complicated process. Holly, can you explain kind of the timeline of this lawsuit?
Yeah. So this lawsuit began a number of years ago. Actually, it happened in 2021, or at least after the 2021 redistricting decision, because the plaintiffs said that they didn't follow the guidelines set out in Proposition 4, which was passed in 2018, that said we want an independent redistricting commission, and if the legislature doesn't agree with their recommendations, then they still have to follow these guidelines of not taking partisan voter registration into account. So here we are all these years later, and it wasn't until August, actually, that Judge Gibson from the 3rd District Court said, here's our decision. You did not actually follow the guidelines, and so I'm going to throw out the maps that were passed in 2021 to the congressional districts in Utah, and you have X amount of time, it was up until November 10th, to vote on and submit a map that complies. And then what happened is she said these don't meet the requirements. And so now it has taken some time, but the Utah legislature said we finally now have a quote-unquote final decision from Judge Gibson. We're going to appeal to the Utah Supreme Court.
Okay, but have they actually filed an appeal?
They have. That's what the news is for today, is that they have finally filed that appeal. And what they said they were waiting on was a final decision from the judge. Now, Judge Gibson, in her latest court ruling said she was surprised that they didn't file in August or in November, but they have waited until today and now they have filed. One of the things that's interesting is just really the timing. So we have a special session that the Utah legislature held the beginning of December that pushed back the filing deadline for these congressional districts to March. But what that does is it really only gives a couple of months if the Utah Supreme Court were to change or throw out Judge Gibson's decision and then maybe go back to the previous lines for the congressional district. Otherwise, what Judge Gibson says is the map will be the map.
So is there any easy fix to this? I mean, are we just going to keep hearing about this?
Yeah, we'll keep hearing about it. And whether there's a ruling by the Utah Supreme Court before the March deadline or not, there will be a ruling certainly before the 2028 election cycle. So we could have a new district or a new set of districts in 2026 and then different ones in 28. And then maybe those will hold in 30, but in 32, we're going to have another new set because we will have had another census.
So pay attention to who you're voting for.
That's right.
Do your research, right? Because that's going to be the only thing that regular folks can do.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. So any idea when the Supreme Court would take this up?
Really no idea. I mean, certainly the legislature is saying this is urgent. Please do it right away. But I have no idea when they actually may do that.
All right. Thank you, Holly, for trying to clarify all of that for us. And that is the host of Inside Sources, Holly Richardson, joining me. Traffic and weather together. It is brought to you by UCCU, 4 new Salt Lake branches to love where you bank. And here's Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
I've just watched this Taylorsville crash pull away, and all lanes are now open eastbound 4700 south at the West Belt. But crews are still working to clear at least one of the crashes that occurred at the 201 Redwood Road Junction. One of them was southbound Redwood Road. The other one was at the ramp to the 21st South Freeway from Redwood Road. That's the one I'm looking at. It's at the ramp and over to the right. You've got room to get around it. However, we do have weather that has moved through the area at times, and right now it is affecting the drive with speed slowing down north and southbound Highway 89 going from Layton up to Uinta. And this is just north of the I-84 junction, so slow your speeds if you're in that area. We have also had restrictions in place for both Big and Little Cottonwood Canyons. Right now I'm looking at the mouth of Little Cottonwood Canyon, and that road is snow covered at this time. Bad weather and parking lots love GoPave Utah. GoPave Utah loves snow. Don't wait for bad weather. Schedule your snow removal service with GoPave Utah. Visit GoPaveUtah.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast calling for a high of only 37 degrees today. Chance for snow showers. 34 tomorrow, partly cloudy skies. We're going to go to 37 on Saturday. Haze starting to build. High pressure works in on Sunday. 39, hazy. 41, mostly sunny skies on Monday. Tuesday's 43, partly cloudy. We'll likely see some more haze with highs in the 40s as we head into next week. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Light snow showers in the Salt Lake area and 36 degrees. The 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. And a quick check of the markets at this hour. The Dow is back above the 49,000 level. NASDAQ, though, it's in negative territory today. Complete update of your money news is coming up next.
I'm Jordan Wilcox, your Utah tax attorney. When life gets overwhelming, some things tend to fall by the side.
I'm Carlos Sanchez from Draper, Utah. I was managing a business, helping out a business, doing paperwork and getting paid, and my wife got sick. We filed taxes, but then we got audited. And when I went and talked to the IRS, they didn't give me any choice. The IRS pretty much said, this is what you owe us, when are you gonna pay us? And we're talking quite a bit. But every time I drive, I listen to the radio. Jordan Wilcox, Jordan Wilcox. So I figure there's a reason these guys on the radio. So I called them.
Put an end to IRS collection and aggression today.
The amount that the IRS came up with, close to $250,000, and the offer and compromise was about $7,600. That's it.
This is Utah tax attorney Jordan Wilcox. Let's solve your IRS nightmare. Visit endtaxworry.com.
Go for it. The outcome, it was worth it. I'm okay.
endtaxworry.com.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other, so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio, so we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
What other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, it sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at FisherInvestments.com.
Investing in securities involves the risk of loss.
When you're making resolutions for the new year, have you ever thought of making a resolution to get a new metabolism?
So that your body is burning fat more naturally? I used to have a terrible metabolism because I didn't know what to eat or when to eat it until I did soda weight loss. I let go of 37 pounds, and now my metabolism works for me.
I let go of 70 pounds in 5 months, and it was so nice because once that metabolism changes, the things that affected you more regularly don't affect you anymore. And those are the things that I learned from my nutritionist as I was going along and even afterward. It's so helpful. They taught me how to be successful for life.
You can call and speak to a nutritionist at Soda Weight Loss today at 866-800-SODA, S-O-T-A. That's 866-800-SODA.
Or you can go to sodaweightloss.com and see the hundreds of before and after pictures. And right now is the best time to do it because if you join now, your partner joins for free, so you get 2 transformations for the price of 1.
It's 866-800-SODA.
Because soda is, say it with me, Amanda, state of the art.
KSL News Time 1226. It's that time of year, the time for Girl Scout cookies.
C is for cookie. That's good enough for me.
Oh, you might see the Scouts side of stores or other businesses. This year, they are launching a brand new cookie called Explore More's. It's inspired by Rocky Road ice cream and is made up of a chocolate cookie with marshmallow and toasted almond flavored cream. Watching Utah's Money. Avalo Airlines is cutting commercial flights, and that includes chartered deportation flights. The airline says it was a good deal for a while, but it's not consistent enough to deliver target revenue. Shoppable hotel rooms are gaining popularity. The Wall Street Journal reports different businesses are providing catalogs or QR codes to certain items in the room that people may want to see in their homes. Now, the concept isn't entirely new. It emerged back in 1999. The demand for copper is expected to grow by 50% over the next 14 years. Reuters reports it's because of AI. S&P Global says without more recycling and mining, the industry will fall short by more than 10 million metric tons. And taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow is up by nearly 280 points, more than a full 0.5%. It sits at 49,275. S&P is down by 6 points, and the NASDAQ, it's down by that 0.5%, down 153 points. NASA has scrapped a spacewalk that was slated for today.
In what was to be the first extravehicular activity, or EVA, of 2026, astronauts Mike Finke and flight engineer Zena Cardman were to don their spacesuits and climb outside the International Space Station for a 6.5-hour spacewalk to install equipment and take some photos. But late yesterday, NASA called it off because of a medical condition with a crew member. The space agency won't be specific about what the condition is or which crew member was involved.
That is ABC's Jim Ryan reporting.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
Do you spend half your day walking or standing while working? If you have foot, knee, or back problems, the Good Feet store wants to help you like we helped Tony.
Pain that I experience the most is foot pain from being on my feet all day. You're having to kind of talk to yourself through the whole shift, like, I got this, I can do this. Before, I felt defeated, and now it's like, all right, let's go. I'm ready. A whole new life, like sunshine coming on.
And how about working more comfortably, like Dennis?
Working at an amusement park, it's always on your feet. I just couldn't take it, but I didn't have a choice. I just couldn't believe that putting these arch supports in made that much of a difference that quickly. I could do my job and I could take care of my family. I know what my tomorrow is going to be. It's going to be positive.
You deserve a better life too. Stop in the Good Feet store today. We have locations in Farmington, Riverton, and Sandy.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU, people helping people. Love where you bank. And here's Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Crews are still working to clean up this crash at the ramp between the 201 junction and Redwood Road. Those vehicles are over to the right shoulder. Snow coming through and causing some wet driving conditions and sticking to the roads, especially in the lower portion of Parley's Canyon, where it's coming down heavily enough to start sticking to the road and also causing some reduced visibility in parts of the canyon. And if you are traveling Highway 89 in Davis County, weather also a factor, slowing speeds both directions from Layton up to the I-84 junction. Try UTA and get more done while you ride. Games, work, books, shows. You'll be too busy to notice all the traffic you're missing. Plan your trip at rideuta.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Calling for snow showers today, especially the first half, and temperatures will top near 37. Overnight, there's a chance for some snow showers west into Salt Lake Valley and into Tooele. 22 will be the overnight low. By tomorrow afternoon, partly cloudy, dry, and 34. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
You're listening to Midday with Maria Shilaos
on KSL News Radio, 102.7 FM and 1160 AM.
Good afternoon. KSL News Time 1231. KSL's top story this hour. Utah legislature has officially filed an appeal with the state Supreme Court over the congressional district maps. KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff joins me live with the latest details. Don?
Maria, there are no details in this filing. It simply states that the legislature is appealing the decision of Judge Diana Gibson, who chose a congressional map that was created by the League of Women Voters of Utah and others. A decision by Judge Gibson just before the end of last year opened the door to the appeal, and lawmakers said at the time that they would be taking the case directly to the Supreme Court. The justices are expected to hear the case, but it may take some time before we know when. Reporting live, Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
Meantime, the Utah GOP has released a list of their goals for 2026. KSL News Radio's Cameron Elliott reports.
The House majority says they'll be putting families first by keeping the cost of living low, helping students excel, and strengthening public safety, though the specific method through which they'll do it has not been specified. The majority will also be focusing on lowering property taxes, gas prices, and home prices, and House Majority Casey Snyder says the primary 2026 goal is to advocate for Utahns in every community, and they have heard their priorities loud and clear.
A letter from the Utah Senate reflected similar goals for the 2026 session. Utah Democrats are condemning hate against the latest man to announce his candidacy for District 1.
Liban Mohammed launched his campaign this week. He's a native Utahn and the son of Somali immigrants with a platform focused on universal child care, affordable housing, and health care for all. The Utah Democratic Party says the slew of racist and religious hate is dangerous and embarrassing. Representative Trevor Lee is among those getting condemned. He's experiencing criticism after responding to Mohammed's campaign, saying this is what happens when past policies to incentivize foreigners and not protect your culture run unchecked. Lee responded, telling KSL Mohammed's platform includes progressive policies that, in his view, do not align with the core values held by most Utahns or the constitutional framework our founding fathers established. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
Another Utah Forward Party candidate is throwing their hat into the ring. Sean Ferriola announced his candidacy for Utah House District 12. It comes after Senate District 11 replaced their Forward Party senator in a special election last month. Senator Daniel Thatcher resigned, and now Senator Emily Buss is the only candidate affiliated with the Utah Forward Party to hold office. KSL's top national stories this hour. The nation is on edge after the deadly ICE shooting in Minneapolis. Department of Homeland Security says it happened after a woman threatened agents with her car. ABC News national correspondent Alex Perez has more.
We have our own medics.
Where are they?
DHS Secretary Kristi Noem, who has deployed 2,000 federal officers to Minnesota, says the shooting was justified and argues the agent feared for his life.
This appears as an attempt to kill or to cause bodily harm to agents, an act of domestic terrorism.
But state officials and the mayor of Minneapolis dispute the account from the feds and say the woman posed no threat. Demonstrators taking to the streets after the shooting.
Minnesota Governor Tim Walz says because top Trump administration officials have already commented on the circumstances of the shooting, he's skeptical of the outcome.
Very, very difficult for Minnesotans to think in any way this is going to be fair when Kristi Noem was judge, jury, and basically executioner yesterday. That's very, very difficult to think that they were going to be fair.
Walz added the nonpartisan independent investigative body in his state, the Bureau of Criminal Apprehension, was barred from investigating the shooting. A man in southern Utah is pleading guilty to federal charges, admitting he vandalized an ICE van last year. U.S. Attorney's Office here in Utah says Ryan Michael Gaines entered a parking lot of a federal office building in just his underwear, a mask, and goggles, and tried to rip the side view mirrors off the van. Gaines will serve 3 years of probation and will pay $2,000 to cover the damages. Other national stories KSL is following. Weekly applications for unemployment have crept up again.
In the week ending January 3rd, 208,000 out-of-work Americans made their first claims for state unemployment benefits, up 8,000 from the previous week and slightly above the consensus number. Meanwhile, the Bureau of Labor Statistics says its 4-week moving average of weekly jobless claims is at its lowest since April of last year.
That is ABC's Jim Ryan reporting. First look traffic. What's going on, Ricky?
We do have restrictions in place for both Big and Little Cottonwood Canyon. Snowfall, slowing speeds and starting to stick to the road on Highway 89. That's in the Uinta South Weber area down to Layton, and also Parley's Canyon, the lower portion of I-80. That's also seeing snowfall with slowing speeds. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL News Time, 12:36.
My friend Joey means well.
Always remember that the early bird gathers no moss.
But he gets a little confused.
You know, you can't make a silk purse out of a wooden nickel.
Like Joey, many of us can be confused when it comes time to plan for retirement. When to take Social Security, how to use that 401k, what about the stock market, taxes, and Medicare? Todd Kim at Galileo Wealth Management can help to simplify retirement planning. His goal is to have you walk into retirement with confidence, not worry, and to address the number one concern among retirees today, the fear of running out of money. Call Galileo Wealth today for a no-cost, no-obligation meeting to talk about the details of your retirement. 385-247-7000. It's 385-247-7000 or online, GalileoWealth.com. And remember,
one man's trash is thicker than water. Of course, water's not thick at all. It's watery.
The new year brings new health goals and wealth goals. Protecting your identity is an important step. Your info is in endless places that could expose you to identity theft, leading to lost funds. LifeLock monitors millions of data points per second. If your identity is stolen, our restoration specialists will fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Resolve to make identity health and wealth part of your New Year's goals with LifeLock. Save up to 40% your first year with promo code NEWS. Visit LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy place, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Thank you for joining us for Midday, recapping our top story. We're a little more than 10 days out of the Utah legislative session. The House GOP says they are working on cutting costs for Utahns. That includes property taxes, gas prices, and home prices. KSL News Time, 12:38. One Orem man has been arrested after police say he shot his lifelong friend in the knees. KSL News Radio's Randall Jepson has more.
Orem police responded to reports of gunshots, and what they found was a man in a garage with a gunshot wound in each knee. Also in the garage was Victor Gonzalez Rodriguez. He was detained and later told investigators he and his friend had been drinking, and they started to argue. At that point, Gonzalez Rodriguez says his friend started to make him feel vulnerable, and he used the phrase he was testing my gangster. That's when he told police he put the gun to each knee and pulled the trigger, saying he didn't want to kill his friend, which is why he aimed for the legs. Randall Jepson, KSL News Radio.
California mother accused of killing her young daughter was in court last night. It was Ashley Buzzard's second time in front of a judge since her December arrest. The 9-year-old's remains were found in Utah last month after she was reported missing in October, and a search was held across 8 states. Buzzard will be back in court later this month. Police are still looking for the suspects involved in a deadly shooting last night outside of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints meeting house in Salt Lake City. Police have confirmed that they're looking for more than one person. They have also now confirmed 2 men, ages 38 and 46, were killed in the shooting.
We again express our condolences to the families and those affected by this senseless tragedy.
Salt Lake City Police Chief Brian Redd says the 5 of the wounded are still in the hospital, but he says they are expected to survive. Another victim has already been released from the hospital. Redd says they're also still working to determine what led up to that fight and the gunshots. A spokesperson for the Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints says that they are grateful for the first responders on the scene and that the church is working with investigators to figure out exactly what happened. Church is also extending prayers for all who have been impacted and expressing deep concern over the violence that took place at a place of worship. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the 9s. It's brought to you by UCCU. Transfer savings, earn more. UCCU, love where you bank. Here's Ricky Meese.
Restrictions in place for both Big and Little Cottonwood. I did see a plow go through Big Cottonwood, but before the plow went through, a crash happened near the S-curves that's supposed to be blocking traffic. It's not in a spot where I can see it. But Little Cottonwood Canyon, that's also a snow-covered road. We do have snowfall in parts of Parley's Canyon, especially the lower portion, and that's going to be from Mountaindale down to the valley floor. And we also have partial reduced visibility in some spots of I-80 in that portion of Parley's. If you are traveling Highway 89, the road is also dealing with snowfall, and drivers are slowing speeds both directions between Layton and the I-84 junction. And we've also had multiple crashes reported on 2300 East near the Fort Union, Campus Drive, and Bengal Drive areas. Do watch for emergency crews still cleaning up crash sites in that area. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Calling for some snow showers today, especially south and east of the Great Salt Lake, and mainly the first half of the day. 37 will be the high. Overnight, 22 snow showers still possible, especially in the Tooele Valley. 34 tomorrow, partly cloudy skies. We'll go to 37 on Saturday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
Looks like the snow showers have now stopped in downtown Salt Lake City, 37 degrees. Coming up on Midday, we'll go in depth on Utah's relationship with Venezuelan refugees. That's coming up, streaming live at KSLNewsRadio.com and on the app for KSL News Radio. We are Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
Hi, this is Derek Overstreet, president of the New Millennium Group and co-host of Stop Working, Start Living with KSL News Radio. Can you imagine what your life would be like if you could retire 3 to 5 years earlier than you thought possible? The things you could do, the loved ones you could spend time with, the memories that you could create. That's what our team at the New Millennium Group does. We'll walk you through the entire process every step of the way. If you'd like to get a copy of the 5-step proprietary plan that will help you retire 3 to 5 years sooner than you thought possible, give us a shout right now. 888-999-6370. That's 888-999-6370 or utahsfinancialplanner.com. Listen, most of our listeners right now have a tax problem, not a money problem. There's not enough money in Social Security Medicare as it is. Let us show you how you can significantly reduce your taxes. That's 888-999-6370, 888-999-6370, or utahsfinancialplanner.com.
Progressive's Accident Response can detect and send help when you need it most, after a major car accident. But other accidents, you're on your own. Like when you accidentally call your wife, Mom. When you accidentally say Happy Holidays on someone's birthday? When you accidentally wave at someone you thought was waving at you? We can't help with those accidents, but Progressive's Accident Response provides peace of mind after major car accidents. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Limited availability in California. Driver is responsible for emergency and towing charges not covered by the policy.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy plates, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
Alpine Home Medical. We bring wellness home.
Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent from Alpine Home Medical, and I'm humbled to win Utah's Best of State for 2025 for the 15th year in a row. After 28 years, we're all about you. Over 1,700 5-star Google reviews and a 4.8 customer satisfaction score to prove it. We'll keep working hard for you. I've spent this year advocating with lawmakers for better Medicare reimbursement, ensuring you always have the best access to medical supplies you need. From Idaho Falls to St. George, our 11 stores are your home for comfort. When you hear Alpine Home Medical, think of that best of state experience every single time. Visit us online at alpinehomemedical.com. That's alpinehomemedical.com.
Alpine Home Medical. We bring wellness home.
KSL News Time 1245. The three things you need to know this hour. First,
a man on a walk was killed after being hit by a UHP trooper in Eagle Mountain. And investigators say they're still working to determine what led up to the crash. I'm KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera.
Second, the Utah legislature has appealed the redistricting case to the state Supreme Court. Third, traffic and weather together, Ricky.
Snowfall making for a wet, slushy, and sloppy drive along I-215 and Highland Drive in the Holiday, Cottonwood Heights, and Fort Union areas. And plus, snowfall has coated the road, but it seems to be easing on Highway 89 between Hill SR 193 and I-84. Ricky Meeson, the KSL Traffic Center.
Chance for snow today, but then things dry out for your weekend. I'm Matt Johnson.
And right now, mostly cloudy skies in downtown Salt Lake City, 37 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios. Time now for KSL's top national stories.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Anguish and anger in Minneapolis after the fatal shooting death of Nicole Good by an officer yesterday. Vice President J.D. Vance at a briefing says the officer acted in self-defense and the woman was interfering with the operation. ABC's Mary Bruce says more.
Traditionally, after an incident like this, you would have the administration, come out and urge patience and caution and ask everyone to sort of wait for the conclusions of that investigation. That is not what we have seen from officials, from the vice president, from the president, from Kristi Noem, from on down. You have heard them come out and very quickly defend the officer and insist that he was acting in self-defense. Again, we don't know because we are waiting for the conclusions of this investigation.
Witnesses say it appears Good was trying to drive off in her vehicle. Maryland's Representative Steny Hoyer, the longest-serving House Democrat, announcing he will leave Congress at the end of his term. This is ABC News.
Time now for the KSL In-Depth. Utah has been rehousing and welcoming Venezuelan refugees since the Biden administration. Aiden Batar is the Director of Migration of Refugee Services at Catholic Community Services, and he tells me what he's heard from these refugees in recent days since the country's president has been taken into custody by the U.S.
Well, I know many of them, they were relieved when Maduro was, taken from the office. But a lot of them were worried about, the way that, the U.S. intervened, a sovereign country, and removed this leader. I think that was what a lot of people have an issue with, and also the instability that creates that. And so a lot of them are really worried about what's going to happen next.
He says Utahns should know these refugees are escaping very real persecution and unrest.
They're coming here to rebuild their lives, and refugees are really, appreciate of all the help that they have received from the U.S. And also, when they come to a community here like Utah, we shouldn't be worried about them. They are all have been vetted before they arrive in the United States, and they do a lot of, heavy jobs. Many of them do work in a different jobs in our community. Many of our businesses heavily rely on the refugees workforce. And I'm sorry to say that, since January, we weren't able to bring any refugees to Utah because that pretty much, hurts our economy. And also it separates families that have been waiting for so long to be reunited. And also this travel ban that the current administration put in place started January 1st. It separates a lot of families who have been waiting so long. So I think we need to advocate and let the administration and Congress know that refugees are, they have been coming to our community for decades, and they're not the enemy. And we need refugees into our community.
That is Aiden Batar, Director of Migration and Refugee Services with Catholic Community Services. Traffic and weather together every 10 minutes on the nines. It's brought to you by UCCU. Supercharge your savings at uccu.com. Here's Ricky Meese.
Well, the snowfall has definitely taken a toll on the roads. We are seeing some areas easing now, but expect a snowy drive along I-80 through parts of Parley's Canyon, where you will see reduced speeds. Restrictions due to snowfall, they are in place for all vehicles traveling Big and Little Cottonwood Canyons. In the Cottonwood Heights as well as Fort Union area of the Sandy and Midvale areas, your roads are also still seeing some snowfall. They can be slick, slushy, and sloppy and wet at times, and plus Highway 89 also had a lot of snow come down. Even though the snow is easing, we do have an accident reported southbound Highway 89 at Antelope Drive in Layton, blocking a left lane of travel. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
KSL 7-day forecast. I got a 37 dialed up for today with a chance for snow. Partly cloudy, 34 tomorrow, looks dry. We've got Saturday at 37, mostly sunny skies. Partly cloudy, 39, hazy on Sunday. Monday's 41, mostly sunny with more haze expected as we head into Tuesday and Wednesday. From the KSL Weather Center, I'm Matt Johnson.
The snow has stopped, 37 degrees in downtown Salt Lake City, and the 7-day forecast is brought to you by Performance Automotive Bountiful. Quick check of the markets at this hour. The Dow has been in fantastic territory today, but the NASDAQ not doing quite so well. We'll get you a complete update of money news next.
Looking for a secure retirement plan without market risk? Look no further. Lyle Boss, president of Boss Financial, specializes in no market risk retirement strategies with guarantees of principal, guaranteed growth, and lifelong income. Join Lyle right here each Saturday and Sunday for his Safe Money radio show, and call him now at 855-355-SAFE for your complimentary customized Safe Money information kit and Safe Money book. Nothing but upside here at 855-355-SAFE.
Make game day yours with the Utah Mammoth app. Get your tickets, order food and drinks without leaving your seat, track live stats, and stream every game with Mammoth Plus, all in one place. It's the ultimate game day essential, designed for Mammoth fans. Stay connected to your hometown team and never miss a moment. Download the Utah Mammoth app today on iPhone and Android. Turn on push notifications and make every day game day. Tusks up. Did you know bad bacteria causes cavities and tooth decay? Did you know bad bacteria feed off residue left by sugary foods and drinks? Keep your family healthy. Your smile matters.
Be sure to brush 2 times daily for at least 2 minutes with fluoride toothpaste.
Floss once a day and limit sugary foods and drinks like sweetened juices, candies, and sodas.
Even sugar-free carbonated drinks can be harmful to teeth. Be sure to visit your dentist for regular checkups and cleanings. If you don't have a dentist, visit YourSmileUtah.org for more information on community dental services. This message is brought to you by Utah Oral Health Coalition, Utah Dental Association, University of Utah School of Dentistry, the Utah Department of Health and Human Services, and other Utah health partners. Remember, a healthy smile means a healthier life. Learn more at YourSmileUtah.org.
Because your smile matters.
Happy New Year, Susan. I really appreciate you picking up the bill for lunch.
I'm happy to. One of my New Year's resolutions is being better with money. So I've started using Upside, the free app that pays you cash back for buying gas.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I earn cash back just for buying the gas I was already buying.
Does that actually add up to anything?
I'll make $200 to $300 this year.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app now in the App Store or Google Play and start earning cash back on everyday gas purchases. Use promo code RIDER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's up to 50 cents per gallon on your next fill up. You can cash out anytime, right to your bank account or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code RIDER for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code RIDER. Code RIDER. Offers vary by user and location. Go to upside.com for terms and conditions.
KSL News Time 12:55. We're learning more about the live-action Tangled movie, what it will look like. Disney has announced Tegan Croft and Milo Manheim will play the lead roles of Rapunzel and Flynn Rider. It will be directed by Michael Gracie, best known for The Greatest Snowman. No release date has yet been announced. Taking a look at your money at this moment, investigating in the Costco gold bars may have been a good idea. HSBC says gold could reach $5,000 an ounce this year. Alaska Airlines is planning to buy more than 100 Boeing jets. It's the airline's biggest purchase ever and the first major one since a door plug panel blew out of a Boeing 737 2 years ago. Less than a quarter of Americans say they take part in crowdfunding. That's according to a new AP NORC poll. 2 in 10 respondents say they donated to a campaign of the last year, and most of those were to help with medical expenses. And taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow now up by 246 points. That's about 0.5%, sitting at 49,242. S&P 500, it's down by 7 points right now, and the NASDAQ is down by 155 points.
When you're making resolutions for the new year, have you ever thought of making a resolution to get a new metabolism?
So that your body is burning fat more naturally. I used to have a terrible metabolism because I didn't know what to eat or when to eat it until I did Soda weight loss. I let go of 37 pounds, and now my metabolism works for me.
I let go of 70 pounds in 5 months, and it was so nice because once that metabolism changes, the things that affected you more regularly don't affect you anymore. And those are the things that I learned from my nutritionist as I was going along and even afterward. It's so helpful. They taught me how to be successful for life.
You can call and speak to a nutritionist at Soda Weight Loss today at 866-800-SODA, S-O-T-A. That's 866-800-SODA.
Or you can go to sodaweightloss.com and see the hundreds of before and after pictures. And right now is the best time to do it because if you join now, your partner joins for free, so you get 2 transformations for the price of 1.
It's 866-800-SODA.
Because soda is, say it with me, Amanda, state of the art.
Between all the holiday parties,
weekend tailgates,
and family get-togethers,
we've been overindulging a little more than usual over the holidays. But now, we are starting the new year off on a healthier note by taking Active Liver supplements from New Nordic every day.
Active Liver contains a powerful blend of turmeric, milk thistle, and globe artichoke extract, all natural ingredients that help protect the liver so that it can protect you from toxins. It's like giving my body a daily detox. I've never felt better, and my energy is through the roof.
And my doctor is already impressed with how much better my numbers are looking. So if better health, more energy, and detoxing your body are some of your priorities this year, get Active Liver today and start the year off knowing you're giving your liver some well-deserved relief.
Active Liver is available online at Amazon or NewNordicUSA.com. Or pick some up today at your local CVS, ShopRite, Meijer Grocery. Are now available at Wegmans. New year, new you, new Nordic.
KSL Broadcast Group contests are open to participants 18 years of age and older that are residents of Utah, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest may not enter. Persons who have won in the last 30, 60, or 90 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. Full general contest rules are available at kslnewsradio.com/contests.
Traffic and weather together brought to you by UCCU. Transfer savings, earn more. UCCU, love where you bank. Ricky?
Snowfall along the upper portion of I-80 in Parley's Canyon. I think plows are out there, and restrictions in place for Big and Little Cottonwood. But those roads in Salt Lake County, the freeways and main secondaries, starting to dry out. But don't be surprised if you see an area that's still wet and slushy. Your ultimate destination for the hottest new cars and trucks, off-road vehicles, exotics, and more is at the Utah Auto Expo, the 16th through the 19th at Mountain America Expo Center. Tickets at autoshowutah.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
A high today of 37 and still more showers are expected.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
A place of peace, a place of worship, ruined by the sounds of gunfire. Several people shot and killed while attending a funeral service.
He opened the door and heard crying, screaming, wailing, and he's like, something's going on over at that church over there. We need to go look.
The investigation still active and underway at this hour. Police angry that this kind of thing would happen at a church.
Our houses of worship are sacred, whatever the affiliation. We should all protect those spaces, and we should all respect those spaces.
The time is 1 o'clock on Thursday, January 8th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, the Salt Lake City funeral shooting. We have special coverage with the latest on the investigation and how we can all support the victims during this difficult time. Also this hour, movements today in the fight over redistricting in Utah. The state legislature officially filing their appeal over the new maps to the Utah Supreme Court. The maps redrawn. We have detailed analysis coming up at 1:30. But first, our top stories. A highway patrol trooper was involved in a fatal crash last night. Department of Public Safety says it happened in the Eagle Mountain area. The trooper himself was not injured, but an adult man was killed. Utah County Sheriff's Office is currently investigating the incident. Our top national story from ABC News. Vice President J.D. Vance addressed the media today on yesterday's fatal shooting death of a woman in Minneapolis by an ICE officer. White House officials say the woman, who was in a vehicle, was using it as a weapon, but some witnesses and Minneapolis officials dispute that claim, saying she was not a threat.
Traditionally, after an incident like this, you would have the administration, come out and urge patience and caution and ask everyone to sort of wait for the conclusions of that investigation. That is not what we have seen from officials, from the vice president, from the president, from Kristi Noem, from on down. You have heard them come out and very quickly defend the officer and insist that he was acting in self-defense. Again, we don't know because we are waiting for the conclusions of this investigation.
That is ABC News Chief White House correspondent Mary Bruce reporting. The interim government in Venezuela is promising to release an important number of political prisoners today, days after the arrest of President Nicolas Maduro. But they didn't say how many prisoners would be freed. It's estimated that Venezuela's prisons held somewhere between 800 and 900 political prisoners, people jailed because of their disagreement with the government. The Senate has voted to approve a resolution that would prevent the further use of military action in Venezuela.
The measure, crafted under the 1973 War Powers Act, aims to prevent the president from using the U.S. military in Venezuela going forward without congressional authorization. Co-sponsor California Democrat Adam Schiff.
If we don't stand up not just for our branch of government, but for the American people, there is no telling and no stopping what comes next.
But even if both houses were to send the resolution to the White House, aides say President Trump would veto it. It would then take a two-thirds vote in both houses to enact the restriction into law. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Taking a look at your money at this moment, tech stocks taking a beating today with the NASDAQ down by 156 points. The Dow, however, up by 240 points, sitting at 49,234, and the S&P is down by 7. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by UCCU. Supercharger savings at uccu.com. And here's Ricky Meese.
Snowplows, UDOT's plows 5 wide, just going over Parley Summit on I-80, taking a swipe at the freeway to clear the road of the snow and slush. So we're seeing better driving conditions on I-80 through Parley's. It's still pretty rough in parts of Big and Little Cottonwood canyons where it's snow-covered in areas and restrictions in place. In the valley, freeways looking pretty good right now. Even where it's wet, you're seeing good speeds and no other problems. Step aboard history, walk through recreations, see real artifacts, and feel the legacy of Titanic. The exhibition open now at the Shops at Southtown in Sandy. Tickets at titanicexhibition.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Still a good chance of showers across the Wasatch Front this afternoon, decreasing overnight, and a 10% chance of showers tomorrow. Looks like Saturday and Sunday will be dry, though. 36 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Bad driving habits are hard to break, but good driving habits are easy to form, especially when they can lead to a discount on your auto insurance. With Farm Bureau Financial Services, the safer you drive, the more you save. Drivers like you are saving an average of $321 per vehicle. So buckle up, learn more, and find an agent at fbfs.com/save. Individual savings results may vary. Farm Bureau Property and Casualty Insurance Company, Western Agricultural Insurance Company.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Ready to get rid of that old car? Donate it to Cars for Kids. Call 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS to reach a friendly live agent. Donation's super easy, and your car can be picked up as soon as tomorrow. Call us now, 1-877-CARS-FOR-KIDS. That's Cars with a K to donate your car today.
1-877 Cars for Kids. KARS Cars for Kids. 1-877 Cars for Kids. Donate your car today.
Did you know you can donate real estate too? Go to carsforkids.org. That's carsforkids.org.
Higher taxes, soaring inflation, record low interest rates, and the skyrocketing cost of healthcare. The list goes on. Retiring successfully today is a lot more complicated than ever before. Learn how you could tackle the biggest challenges that you'll face in retirement today. Don't miss a special edition of Retirement Solutions Radio. It's this Saturday afternoon at 3 o'clock, right here on KSL, News Radio 1027.
Thanks for tuning in to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. A place of peace and worship in Rose Park, devastated by a deadly shooting. Outside a funeral service, a gunfight in the parking lot of a meeting house for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So far, 2 people have died. Several more are still recovering from their injuries. A few of them still in critical condition.
The fatally wounded have been identified as Vaya Tulikana Nifo, 46, and Sione Batuve, 38 years of age, both residents of Utah.
Salt Lake City Police Chief Brian Redd sharing insights into the investigation at a news conference a short time ago.
There are people involved in this incident who have been less than cooperative, and we're still working to identify all who were involved in the incident and their roles in the matter.
KSL News Radio's Adam Small was there. He joined me with the very latest information.
We learned a couple new things. I mean, the biggest thing we learned is the names of the 2, and we now know are 2 adult men who were killed in this shooting. This was for what I was looking up online, this is a church building where members that speak Tongan can actually go and worship in the Tongan language. So this was a very vastly predominant Polynesian congregation. So the two victims are 38-year-old Sione Vatuve and 46-year-old Vaya Tulikihihifo. And we just figured that out. Obviously, that was obviously very deep news to deal with today, learning that two people were killed. I mean, outside of a funeral service, but we also have learned since what police told us last night, we're now learning that they seem very confident that they're looking for more than one person that was involved in this shooting.
Do we have any idea what led to the fight out in the parking lot?
That's still one of the million-dollar questions. Salt Lake City Police Chief Brian Redd said something to the effect of, his words I'm paraphrasing, were like, we have indication that some of those involved in this, what they described as an exchange of gunfire. So it sounds like someone, at least, one person shooting at the other, maybe more, we don't know. He said there's indication that some of those involved may have been involved with, gangs potentially, but that's still not 100% certain, but that's why they had their gang unit out investigating. But he said very specifically, we're still looking to figure out the motive for the shooting, whether this was gang-related or not. We're still trying to figure out what caused this fight and then shooting to even start.
Adam, it happened in the parking lot. Were these folks actually at the funeral before this occurred?
Still a little hazy, but it's possible. So I think Chief Redd used the words that maybe some of those involved it sounds like maybe one or more of them maybe had some kind of involvement in the service. I think that's the wordage he used, but it's still a little hazy. It's possible they may have been at the funeral, came outside. I mean, maybe they weren't involved at all. It's still one of those things that I'm trying to get some clarity on.
Others were shot as well. 6 other people were shot. What do we know about them and their conditions?
Yes, other big update there, and this was actually good news. So we've learned that, so obviously the 2 gentlemen that passed away, 6 people were taken to the hospital. But at this point, the news that we've received is that they are at this point expected to all survive. So that's
very good news.
Yeah, good news, of course. 5 of them, as of last update, are still in the hospital receiving treatment. Salt Lake City Police say they do have officers there trying to talk with them when they're able to figure out if they could describe what happened. And then one of these 6 victims has actually already been released from the hospital. So that's also some good news there.
Okay. So do we know anything more about the victims? You mentioned Polynesian descent, but these aren't young people.
And we know all the victims were adults. And now when it comes to the suspects, I talked with a couple people out at the church this morning as they were trying to clean up, as they were let back into what was a crime scene pretty much all night so they could pick up their vehicles, tend to the church building. I received some indication from one person who was related to one of the victims that that shooters may have involved younger people, but again, that's still working to confirm that for sure. But those that were shot, we know are all adults. We know we can say that for sure. But I mean, I don't know if these adults were necessarily maybe, there could have been adults that were in their 20s, but obviously the gentlemen that were killed were, late 30s and then mid 40s. Still something we're trying to get clarity on. But I mean, we can at least say we know they were all adults. There were no children hit or anything like that, but still hopeful we can get some information on suspects at some point. But Chief Redd also said there have been people that have been, quote, uncooperative, and that's kind of complicating things.
Yeah. Any other clarity that we got today?
So the biggest thing right now people need to know is that at this point, there are people who shot and killed 2 men are still on the loose. And whatever involvement they had, they were involved in a very dangerous incident, and that police are still asking for help. Police still haven't been able to give us any description of the suspects or a vehicle. We know that now multiple vehicles apparently left the church afterwards. But the biggest thing to take away is that if you know anything, have any video, you've heard something, even if it seems far-fetched and you think there may be some truth to it, Salt Lake City Police, just please call their non-emergency line, because the sooner you can bring these people in while they don't believe there's a threat to the general public, and the sooner they can bring these people to justice.
And that is KSL News Radio's Adam Small. As this investigation plays out, what are police looking for? What kinds of things would they be examining right now? For more on that perspective, we are joined by retired FBI agent Greg Rogers. Greg, thanks for taking the time today.
Always a pleasure.
Police now saying they believe that there was an exchange of gunfire last night, and one of the options we've heard is that some of those injured may be in the hospital or may be involved in that shooting. How would police handle this kind of thing?
the best they could be doing right now is attempting to interview the people that are in the hospital if they're available and in a situation where they can participate in interviews. Those guys saw what was going down, so they're definitely going to want to be talking to them. But as Chief Red said in one of his early press conferences, some folks are being uncooperative.
So as police do work to process the crime scene, what kinds of things are they looking for today?
They're clearly looking for ballistics evidence to find shell casings, very important. They can put those with guns, and they can use that sort of forensic evidence to identify shooters and weapons that were used. They're clearly going to be looking for video cameras on any of the businesses. It's also highly likely that because there was a crowd there, I would be really surprised if there weren't some cell phone videos if people didn't have their phones out. You know, they're going to be looking for any video coverage to try to identify anybody that was on the scene or to identify vehicles. So there's a whole lot of forensic work like that going on right now, trying to identify who these shooters were.
All right. With so many witnesses, how do they handle all the statements from that many people and get a really good picture of what happened?
Yeah, you have to bring in, an entire squad or more people, but you need to be talking to them quickly. And so I'm confident they worked through most of the evening and are still going at it. You have to just bring in extra bodies from other squads, and those people need to be interviewed. You can't have them waiting around or changing their mind or deciding, if this is a gang-related, which it sounds like it might be. They might be getting nervous and a little concerned about talking to the police.
Yeah, Greg, let's talk about the suspects in the case. Police haven't shared any info about who they may be, but they have said they don't believe the public is in any danger. How do they make that kind of a judgment call?
That's a little surprising to me. I always am a little inquisitive when they say that, because you have, no matter how you want to look at it, even if it is gang-related and this shooting was Tongan Crip on Tongan Crip or some sort of gang-related matter, you have shooters out in the public right now who killed people last night. So the public is in some danger. And if this is gang-related, it's highly likely there's going to be a retaliation. And no telling where that retaliation takes place, that's dangerous to the public. That could be in a restaurant, could be on the street, could be a drive-by shooting. So that's something that, in my opinion, shouldn't have been said. The public is clearly in danger. You have who knows how many, but you have a number of murderers out driving around in the city somewhere as we speak.
All right. We appreciate your time. Thank you so much for joining me.
You bet. Take care.
You too. That is Greg Rogers, retired FBI agent, telling us more about how this crime scene would be looked at by the investigators right now. We're going to take a 1-minute break. We'll be right back.
When it comes to vaping, the truth can get clouded. So let's make it clear. Vaping is not safe for kids, teens, or young adults. It's just not.
Because vaping can put microscopic particles into your lungs.
And dangerous things like metals and volatile organic compounds into your body.
And nicotine, the same highly addictive substance found in regular cigarettes.
Nicotine can harm a person's brain development through their mid-20s.
Affecting learning, memory, attention, and impulse control, and priming the brain for other addictions.
Vaping products also come in kid-friendly flavors that can make them appealing to youth.
And many kids also use other drugs, like marijuana, in vaping devices.
With appealing flavors, high nicotine levels, and lots of promotion on social media,
many kids think vaping is harmless, but it's not.
So talk to your kids about the risks of vaping, because when you talk, they hear you.
For more information, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov.
We continue our special coverage on the deadly shooting at a funeral last night at a meeting house for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Rose Park. Last night's shooting, the largest mass shooting in Utah since the deadly Trolley Square shooting in 2007. Among those killed in that shooting, Jeff Walker, his 16-year-old son AJ, was shot as well. Now, in the years since then, wife and mother Vicki Walker made it her mission to advocate and support victims and survivors of violent crimes like this, and we've talked with her many times. Vicki, thanks for being with me right now on Midday.
Hi, Maria. Thank you for asking me to be on your show.
Before we talk more about the victims, because we've talked a lot about suspects, first of all, what was your reaction when you heard about this last night?
Well, it's like a gut punch. Every time, especially when it happens in Utah, but we're having so many shootings like this, it happens quite a bit. And my first reaction is to immediately think of the people that this affected. I mean, they showed up at a viewing or a memorial service, and they're leaving with someone that they know and love gone. And it is incredibly traumatic.
Let's talk about the victims. They're not just the victims those people shot, but everyone who was there, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've learned so much. The victims in our situation were my husband and my son who survived. Those are primary victims. And myself being the wife and the mother of, I'm considered a secondary victim. So there are some primary victims, but of course there were a lot of secondary victims there, and it's equally as traumatic for both.
Yeah, what would you?
So,
go right ahead. Sorry, Vicki, didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh no, that was just it. It's just very interesting how they segregate primary and secondary, but yet the effect to all of us is so traumatic and so strong and so horrible.
Yeah, what do you want people to know about those people who were victimized and how to help people who are victimized?
That can be a little bit tricky. I would say if I had the opportunity to speak with them, for those that lost a family member at this event, I would say first and foremost, you are in a state of compromised thought, to be quite honest with you. It's the 5 F's, fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, or flop. And the minute a trauma of this type, a traumatic event happens, your brain is compromised. You go into the 5 F's. And I would say pick somebody to be their spokesperson and to be with them in these first few days. They have to make major decisions because, your ability to think at the higher level has definitely been compromised. And it is to find someone that can help you navigate the first 2 or 3 days, because the first 96 hours after an event like this happens, you're extremely compromised. So, and then the second thing I would say is to reach out to a victim advocate if they haven't already reached out to them, anybody that was affected by this event. The victim advocates have resources. There are several programs in place. One is called want to make sure that I get it right, it's Crime Victims Reparation Fund that can help with funeral costs, therapy, any travel that's associated with family getting to to those that have been affected by this event. So as far as the community, it's basically, it's tricky because you really do want to be left alone, but it is important for you to see that the community is rallying to try and support you outside of your, what I call the wall of protection around you. So it was, vigils, memorials, activists in trying to get things changed so this doesn't happen again. That's how the community can help.
Vicki, I appreciate your help. Thank you so much for being with me today.
All right. Thank you.
That is Vicki Walker, the founder and executive director of Circles of Comfort. The church funeral shooting, we will continue to track the investigation and bring you any new developments as they break, both on air and online at kslnewsradio.com. After the break, we'll get updates on the fight over enhanced health care subsidies. The House is forcing a vote on extending the subsidies, which could happen as soon as tonight. But first, it's KSL Traffic. It's brought to you by UCCU. Transfer savings, earn more. UCCU, love where you bank.
We have heavy delays southbound I-15 in Weber County from the I-84 junction to just past 5600 South Roy. Not sure what's happening up there. I don't have a crash reported, but something is causing delays. And then a snow-covered road on Little and sometimes Big Cottonwood Canyon. Plows are out, but restrictions are in place. While you're planning your day, plan for comfort too with the Good Feet store. Find the location nearest you at goodfeet.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Alpine Home Medical, we bring wellness home.
Hey folks, it's Jay Broadbent here with Alpine Home Medical, celebrating 28 years of keeping Utah and Idaho comfortable and at home. Back in '97, I started with a truck, a dream, and a lot more hair. Today, we've got 11 stores from Idaho Falls to St. George. From the moment you step into our clean, welcoming showrooms, you'll feel the Alpine difference. Our team will be there to listen and guide you to the best solutions for your needs. We believe that the right equipment can transform lives. We're honored to be a part of your healthcare journey and to help you live the life you deserve. Visit us online at alpinehomemedical.com. That's alpinehomemedical.com.
When you need a new water heater, you need it right now.
Yep, can't wait on that.
When you need a new furnace or a new air conditioner come the summertime, you need it right now. So Superior Water and Air has a wonderful program where they can help you with financing. If you need it, get it today and pay it off when you get your tax refund or just over time.
And that's one of the great things is they have multiple financing options. It's not just one, okay, you've got to do it this way. It's, you can wait till just after your tax refund. Well, what if you need no payments until later in the year?
Yeah.
They can work with you like that because, look, they want to help you get you back on your feet with the thing that doesn't work that you got to use.
Yeah.
And they'll just work with your situation. What a great way to do it.
I loved introducing you to my friends at Superior because they're just great people. And when you invite somebody into your home, you want to feel good about them.
Yeah, and they're so customer-centric. That was what really impressed me was they wanted to work with me and my family, whatever needs we might have.
Right. They want your home to be safe and clean. Superior Water and Air. Here's the number, 801-872-8483, or go to superiorwaterandair.com.
You gave years, maybe decades to your job. You showed up, worked hard, and planned for retirement. But now the company's changed. Or maybe you've taken a buyout or been forced into early retirement. So what happens next? I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. And if you've built up a 401k or thrift savings plan, now is the time to ask, is that money really working for you? Many workplace retirement plans offer limited options and even less guidance. At Trajan Wealth, we help people just like you roll over their accounts into IRAs with more flexibility and personalized investment strategies built around your goals. For households with $500,000 or more, let us build you a personalized plan. We operate on veteran values, service, trust, and doing what's right. Your next chapter starts now. Call Trajan today, 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Advisory services offered through Trajan Wealth, LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. See website for details.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. The debate over reviving enhanced pandemic-era subsidies for healthcare continued today. The enhanced Obamacare tax credits expired at the first of the year after lawmakers failed to pass extensions. Last night, a bipartisan coalition in the House voted to push a measure that would bring the credits back. With a tally of 221 to 205, several Republicans joined all the Democrats in signing a discharge petition to force a full vote on the issue. Now, the House is expected to fully vote on a 3-year extension to those tax credits. Let's focus for just a second a bit more on this discharge petition. It's the same kind of process lawmakers took to force a vote on the releasing the Epstein files. Now, you may not be super familiar with it. I certainly wasn't. So let's bring in our resident political science expert and co-host of Inside Sources, Holly Richardson, for more. And Holly, what exactly is a discharge position? Is this a new thing?
It's not new. Actually, it's been around since 1910. And in fact, since 1935, 673 discharge petitions have been filed in the House. Only 42 passed the House, and only 7 were actually signed into law. So it's not something that is used commonly, although last year, 2025, 4 discharge petitions actually passed the House. So basically what it is, it's a way to force a vote. So if for example, the Speaker of the House is like, I don't want to vote on the Epstein files, which is what happened, then you can have people who sign on a petition, and 218 is the 50+1 benchmark, then it will actually force the House to hold a vote on that. So you mentioned that yesterday the vote, there were 9 Republicans who signed on. That was part of a procedural vote, but the actual discharge petition was signed in December, and now they're actually getting to holding the vote.
Okay, why are more and more of these petitions happening?
I think really we're looking at the gridlock in Washington, D.C., and even Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, who just barely stepped down from the House, said that was one of the big frustrations is they just are not getting work done. They only passed something like 40 bills last year, significantly slower than most years. And while there's some argument to be made that maybe that's a good thing, one of the things it does is it has just gummed up the works. And so people are saying, look, if you're not going to let us vote on it in a normal process, then we're going to use this discharge petition to force you to let us vote.
Okay, so it sounds like we may see more of these unless they can come together in some way.
I think so, and I think Speaker Mike Johnson in November, right around Thanksgiving, already started saying he thinks he should make it harder to file discharge petitions, right? Because really it's an end run around him because people are unhappy with him. And that's what we're seeing right now is enough Republicans siding with the Democrats that it's forcing the speaker to have votes on issues he doesn't want to have a vote on.
All right, Holly, thanks for helping me out with that.
My pleasure.
Holly Richardson, the co-host of Inside Sources. It's 1:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we are watching this hour. The Republican-led state legislature appealing new congressional maps to the Utah Supreme Court. New federal guidelines for cervical cancer screenings and KSL traffic, Ricky.
Heavy delays southbound I-15 in Riverdale and Roy. Maria?
Showers are not done with us yet. Still a 70% chance for today, but looks like the weekend should be fairly dry. It's 1:30.
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Protests continue in Minneapolis following yesterday's deadly shooting of Renee Good, carried out by an ICE officer. The FBI is now the sole agency investigating the shooting. Minnesota's Independent Bureau of Criminal Apprehension says the federal government is not allowing it to participate or gain access to documents and officer camera footage. Minnesota's Governor Tim Walz calling for a full and fair investigation into Renee Good's death.
It feels very, very difficult that we will get a fair outcome.
Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem pushing back.
They have not been cut out. They don't have any jurisdiction in this investigation.
Noem also says the ICE officer acted in self-defense. House lawmakers are set to vote later today on a measure to extend Obamacare subsidies for 3 years under the Affordable Care Act. If it clears the House, the Senate would still need to re-vote on an extension. And President Trump has also said he opposes extending the subsidies. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local story. Utah lawmakers are asking the state Supreme Court to rule in the ongoing legal battle over the state's congressional district maps. KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff with details.
Near the end of last year, 3rd District Judge Diana Gibson chose a congressional map submitted by the League of Women Voters of Utah and others. Lawmakers appealed that decision, saying the state constitution makes it clear it's the legislature's job to set congressional district boundaries. Judge Gibson rejected that appeal, but opened the way for the legislature to appeal to the state Supreme Court. Today's filing states simply, the legislative defendants appeal the final judgment in this case to the Utah Supreme Court, which has authority for this type of case. The justices are expected to take the appeal, but so far there's no timeline for when that might happen. Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
Another Utah Forward Party candidate is throwing their hat into the ring. Sean Ferriola announced his candidacy for Utah House District 12. Comes after Senate District 11 replaced their Forward Party senator in a special election last month. Senator Daniel Thatcher resigned, and now Senator Emily Buss is the only candidate affiliated with the Utah Forward Party to hold office. Other local stories KSL is following. University of Utah expanded their affordable book program last semester, and now they're saying they have plans to make the program more accessible. KSL News Radio's Brianna Willis reports.
The Utah Day One Book Access Program saves students a combined $300 million each semester. Program manager Shane Girton says they plan to make the program easier to understand this next fall.
videos for students that they can reference as they launch into the program that will help kind of guide them through the process of choosing what level of access they want. Videos for students that they can reference as they launch into the program that will help kind of guide them through the process of choosing what level of access they want.
The program was expanded last semester, automatically enrolling every student, allowing them to get their course materials for a $259 flat rate. Girton says right now about 27,000 students choose to stay enrolled. Brianna Willis, KSL News Radio.
Taking a look at your money at this moment, the Dow up by 286 points, more than 0.5%, sitting at 49,282. S&P up by a point, and the NASDAQ, it's down by 117 points. Traffic and weather, it's brought to you by UCCU Supercharger Savings at uccu.com. And here's Ricky Meese.
We do have traffic coming to a crawl on southbound I-15 starting right around the I-84 junction in Riverdale down to just past 5600 south in Roy. Again, not sure what's going on there. I don't have a good look through the cameras. If you know what's happening and you're stuck in this, text us at 57500, but do so safely. And then we also have a crash. This is reported in the West Jordan area, southbound Bangerter Highway at 90th South. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Snow showers bringing with them temperatures in the 30s. We're staying in the 30s for highs all the way through Sunday. Looks like we might get back up into the 40s on Monday. Right now, 36 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
A reminder about the simplest way to get updated for your day.
Hit your KSL preset when you jump in the car, and we'll take care of the rest.
Hear key news updates and traffic reports.
Andy and Amanda from 5 to 9 in your car.
KSL News Radio at 102.7 FM.
When you're making resolutions for the new year, have you ever thought of making a resolution to get a new metabolism?
So that your body is burning fat more naturally. I used to have a terrible metabolism because I didn't know what to eat or when to eat it until I did Soda weight loss. I let go of 37 pounds, and now my metabolism works for me.
I let go of 70 pounds in 5 months, and it was so nice because once that metabolism changes, the things that affected you more regularly don't affect you anymore. And those are the things that I learned from my nutritionist as I was going along and even afterward. It's so helpful. They taught me how to be successful for life.
You can call and speak to a nutritionist at Soda Weight Loss today at 866-800-SODA, S-O-T-A. That's 866-800-SODA.
Or you can go to sodaweightloss.com and see the hundreds of before and after pictures. And right now is the best time to do it because if you join now, your partner joins for free, so you get 2 transformations for the price of 1.
It's 866-800-SODA.
Because soda is, say it with me, Amanda, state of the art.
Welcome back to Winter Hack Radio, the place for clever hacks to survive the season. Icy driveway? Well, try spreading sand or birdseed to help with traction. Snowy puppy paws? Well, grab a whisk, brush it off, done. Catch COVID-19? Well, just get...
Actually, there's no hack for COVID-19. But if you test positive, prescription medications for COVID exist. Ask your doctor if they're right for you. Visit PfizerForAll.com to learn more. Sponsored by Pfizer.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. The fight over the future of Utah's congressional maps takes another step forward today. This morning, Utah lawmakers took their case to the state Supreme Court, asking them to rule in the ongoing legal battle over the state's congressional district maps. The maps redrawn, we have continuing coverage of this ongoing process. If you need a little refresher, near the end of last year, 3rd District Judge Diana Gibson chose a congressional map submitted by the League of Women Voters of Utah and others. Lawmakers appealed that decision, saying the state constitution makes it clear it's the legislature's job to set congressional district boundaries. Judge Gibson rejected that appeal, but opened the way for the legislature to appeal to the state Supreme Court. Today's filing states simply the legislative defendants appeal the final judgment in this case to the Utah Supreme Court, which has the authority for this type of case. Now, the justices are expected to take the appeal, but so far there is no timeline for when that might happen. Democrats here in Utah and across the country have been watching this court case very closely, hoping that they may be able to flip one of Utah's 4 congressional seats. Let's go more in depth on what Democrats are saying and what they are hopeful to make, what progress they're hoping to make. Deseret News reporter Brigham Tomko has been digging into that part of the story. He joins me here in studio. Thanks for being with me. So talk a bit more about how the Democrats are energized by these new congressional maps.
Well, thank you for having me. And Utah Democrats are operating under the assumption that this is the congressional map going forward to the 2026 midterm elections. And that is now in the Utah Supreme Court's hands. But what we've seen is a number, ranging, I think, 7, 8, or 9 Democratic candidates jumping into this race for the 1st Congressional District, which is a new seat located in the northern half of Salt Lake County that could advantage Democrats by 20-plus percentage points.
Okay, so that's the main place where they could see opportunity, though, District 1.
Yeah, so Judge Gibson's decision to reject the legislature's attempt to abide by the redistricting requirements of Proposition 4 and then implement a map submitted by these nonprofit plaintiffs created 4 less competitive districts in the state of Utah. And the argument was that the voters in Salt Lake County deserved, better representation, which is Democratic representation according to the poll numbers. And that leaves 3 more red districts around Salt Lake County, around the rest of the state. But here in the kind of this urban core around Salt Lake City, we're going to see a Democratic primary like we haven't seen in the state for decades, where we'll have a very competitive race among the Democratic voting base about who's going to represent the state in Washington, D.C. from the Democratic perspective.
Polling shows that the Democrats are having a tough time getting people energized and on their side. Why does that seem to be?
So nationally, the Democratic Party is in a slump. And we saw this begin in the fall of 2024, where their poll numbers that were already struggling, as were Republicans. This is a decades-long trend, but these poll numbers began to plummet for Democrats, and they haven't recovered. Even with Trump in the White House making the headlines, driving the news cycle, Democrats still struggle across the country to gin up excitement even among their own voters. And we see that a large percentage of Democrats around the country are frustrated with their own party, including, so it's 60% of voters across the country have an unfavorable view of the party, including 1/4 of self-described Democrats. And so, the problems with this national reputation or brand differ depending on who you talk about, and that's kind of the center of the debate happening right now among these 1st Congressional District candidates is how do we revive this Democratic brand in the state of Utah to reach out to new voters, and that's the question at play now.
Yeah, so does the National Party see anything different here in Utah when it comes to these voters and how they're leaning?
So I think that Utah has previously been a flyover state for the National Democratic Party, and now it will be a place that will attract fundraising dollars, national attention, and outside groups looking for a voice here in the 1st Congressional District. And so I think something that is different about these Utah Democrats, according to the political consultants and the candidates in this race that I spoke to, is that there is a recognition that the state has a very unique religious background and community when it comes to charitable giving, volunteer service, and things like this. And the argument is whether the Democratic Party is actually the best vehicle for those values in terms of helping marginalized communities and those who are also struggling in the economy. And so I guess that's something that makes the Democratic Party here in the state unique, and they're hoping they can take advantage of that in this new, very Democrat-leaning seat.
Yeah, it's just interesting to hear that the Democratic Party is actually paying attention to Utah.
It would be very surprising and interesting if this years-long redistricting saga we've had this lawsuit ongoing since 2022, and Better Boundaries passed this initiative back in 2018. So that's 8 years ago now. If that's what decides the split of the control of the U.S. House of Representatives next November or this November.
Well, I'll be watching. All right, Brigham, thanks so much for being with me. That is Brigham Tomko, Deseret News reporter. Midday will continue in just 60 seconds.
Whether you want to travel on-road, off-road, or off the grid, we've got you covered. When you want the best protection from everything Mother Nature can throw at you, we've got that covered too. If you want high-quality truck bed liners and accessories designed to endure the elements and last a lifetime, ask for Line-X spray-on protective coatings and travel on. Don't just protect it, Line-X it. Stop by Line-X today and see what's possible.
Line-X and Jordan Camper have teamed up to offer you the very best in protective coatings and truck accessories. Visit our spacious showroom at 7000 South State in Midvale. We specialize in truck tops and tonneau covers, a wide range of products from floor mats to step bars, hundreds of variations of commercial shelving for vans and trucks to fit your work needs. Jordan Camper at 7000 South State features multiple installation bays with trained technicians ready to install. Check out our website, jordancamper.com.
New federal women's health preventative guidance when it comes to screening for cervical cancer. Some of the changes include expanding options for women and increasing the preventative measures to be covered by insurance. ABC News Chief Medical Correspondent Dr. Tara Narula broke down the updates and what it means for women on Good Morning America.
Well, the guidelines recommend that women at average risk who are ages 21 to 65 should get screened for cervical cancer. If you are 21 to 29, that should look like a pap smear test, which we're all familiar with, every 3 years. Where the changes come in are that if you are between 30 and 65 and average risk, the recommendation is to get an HPV test every 5 years or co-test with an HPV and pap smear every 5 years. If neither of those options are available, you can still do the pap smear every 3 years. One of the big changes is self-testing. So women can actually test themselves with an FDA-approved kit either at home or in the clinician's office. This is felt to potentially be able to help access for women who maybe live in rural areas, have issues with scheduling or transportation, or just maybe it making them feel more comfortable. It's a little bit more private. The other big changes, insurance companies will be required to cover patient navigation services, so helping women navigate through the screening and follow-up process, and also cover any follow-up testing. So for example, if that initial test is positive, the tests that come after they will have to cover. That is scheduled to be mandatory by January 1st, 2027. Now, again, the important thing is that this is for average risk women. If you are high risk, then it's a different potential.
Story.
Exactly.
Okay.
Dr. Narula says the rates of deadly cervical cancer rates have fallen dramatically thanks to early screening, early treatment, and prevention. It's like the old saying goes, an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure.
So cervical cancer screening, this is really one of the big public health successes. We know that screening has essentially reduced the rates of cervical cancer and death by about 50% in the last 50 years. We know that generally about 25% of women are not getting screening in the way that they should. And the problem is that cervical cancer can be asymptomatic in those early stages. If you find it early, the 5-year survival rate is over 90%.
Wow,
Once it's
significant.
metastatic, that 5-year survival rate drops to about 20%. So screening is really, really key. We also talk about prevention. We have an HPV vaccine that's been around since 2006, recommended for preteens ages 11 and 12 as early as 9 years old and up to 26 years old as well. That can be given with your other routine vaccination. So cervical cancer screening and prevention, very, very important.
U.S. Department of Health and Human Services says self-collection for cervical cancer screening offers an innovative and accessible option to increasing screening rates, reducing barriers to testing, and improving early detection. For more information on the new testing guidelines and to see when you or your female loved ones should be screened, make sure you talk to your doctor. A special kind of thrifting helping Utah's young people get formal wear for special events. I'll tell you more about this new program with the Salt Lake County Library System. That's coming up next. But first, it's KSL Traffic, and it's brought to you by UCCU Supercharger Savings at uccu.com. And Ricky, I can see texters are telling you about some delays out there.
Yeah, our listeners have been great helping me out on this. I never was able to see this crash except for some shots that someone sent in. So it was an accident. Southbound I-15 in the 5600 South Roy area. One listener saying it was in the construction zone. That's all it takes to tie up traffic in that stretch of Weber County. Now, it's in the cleanup stages, and I can see some of the delays clearing, but there are some leftover backups through Riverdale. But, Maria, I'm afraid the storm has caused other big problems. We reported an earlier crash in the noon hour in Big Cottonwood Canyon near the S-curves. We've got big delays both directions there as they alternate traffic to get drivers past the accident. Again, it's in Big Cottonwood by the S-curve, and then in Ogden Canyon eastbound SR 39 right now is closed due to a crash near the mouth of the canyon. You can expect delays, and if you want to plan ahead, take an alternate. Your ultimate destination for the hottest new cars and trucks, off-road vehicles, exotics, and more is at the Utah Auto Expo the 16th through the 19th at Mountain America Expo Center. Tickets at autoshowutah.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
If you are simply tired of trying to go it alone when it comes to your weight, because I know that I tried for years and I promised myself that I would take off those extra pounds, but I just could not do it by myself. And a lot of us have done a lot of research on different weight loss programs. But the one that has worked for me, it helped me lose more than 40 pounds, is Salt Lake City Fat Loss. It's a great all-natural program. It helps you drop the weight very fast, and that means it's really easy to stick with. And if you're really busy, you don't have to work out for an hour a day to take off that weight, and it's less expensive than other programs. And I tell you that because right now is the perfect time to start, because due to the overwhelming demand, SLC Fat Loss has extended their huge New Year's sale over 20% off for a limited time only. So whether you just want to look better, boost your energy, for me, I no longer suffer from back spasms, and I just feel so much better. So SLC Fat Loss works. It keeps you accountable. They have a great app that gives you great resources as well. But these huge New Year's sales savings are going to end soon. Schedule your free consultation at slcfatloss.com. Lock in the savings, slcfatloss.com.
Respiratory virus season is quickly approaching, meaning we'll see more flu, COVID, and RSV in our community. The good news is vaccines are available that will help prevent these infections and keep people healthy. For flu and COVID, everyone aged 6 months and older are recommended to be vaccinated to help protect ourselves and our families against serious illness. Fall remains the best time to be vaccinated. Respiratory viruses circulate year-round, but peak late fall through winter. Your doctor can recommend which vaccines are best for you and your family.
Brought to you by Intermountain Health and KSL News Radio.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
With Progressive Snapshot, you could save on auto insurance rates by driving safely, which is nice because you can just keep doing you. So keep on using that broken phone charger because it occasionally works. Keep quoting something you heard on a podcast as your own. Keep ignoring your sister's texts while you drive and after. And when baggage claim says, have a great trip, keep on saying, you too. And keep driving safely. And you could save with Snapshot from Progressive. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates. Snapshot not available in California or from all agents. Surcharge possible for unsafe driving.
The movie show is at Minky Couture in Layton this Friday, January 9th from 10 to 1. Join KSL News Radio. Get special discounts and savings on your favorite Minky Couture products.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800 800-292-4541 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-292-4541. That's 800-292-4541. What do you have to lose? Call 800-292-4541. Again, 800-292-4541.
A 15-year-old girl who chewed through a rope to escape a serial killer.
I used my front teeth to saw on the rope in my mouth.
The killer prowled the Pacific Northwest in the early 70s. He's been convicted of murdering 2 young women, but suspected of many more.
Maybe there's another one in that area.
Follow and binge all episodes of Stolen Voices of Dole Valley, available now wherever you listen.
This is Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Republican pushback is growing against President Trump's efforts to bring Greenland under U.S. control. Over the past several days, the president has ramped up his talk that NATO ally Denmark should hand over the island of Greenland.
We need Greenland from a national security situation. It's so strategic. Right now, Greenland is covered with Russian and Chinese ships all over the place.
Denmark says Greenland is not for sale. ABC's Rachel Scott says the president's recent remarks and renewed push for control of the island have concerned and frustrated fellow Republican lawmakers, some of whom say the president is getting bad advice.
President Trump has been teasing this idea of seizing Greenland for some time now, but I think what is really catching lawmakers, especially Republican lawmakers here off guard, is that the president is not ruling out using military action in order to do it. And so now we are seeing a growing number of Republicans denounce the Trump administration's efforts to try to pressure Denmark, which is a NATO ally, to hand over Greenland. One of the president's top advisors, Stephen Miller, went on CNN and he declared that obviously Greenland should be a part of the United States.
The United States should have Greenland as part of the United States. There's no need to even think or talk about this in the context that you're asking of a military operation. Nobody's going to fight the United States militarily over the future of Greenland.
Well, Republican Senator Tom Tillis called that absurd.
I'm sick of stupid. I want good advice for this president because I want this president to have a good legacy. And this nonsense on what's going on with Greenland is a distraction from the good work he's doing, and the amateurs who said it was a good idea should lose their jobs. Turning around and making insane comments about how it is our right to have territory owned by the Kingdom of Denmark. Folks, amateur hour is over.
Lawmakers are also paying attention to what world leaders are saying about the president's comments. You had the leaders of France, Germany, Italy, Poland, Spain, and the UK, as well as the Denmark and Greenland, put out a joint statement saying Greenland belongs to the people. It is for Denmark and Greenland and them only to decide on matters concerning Denmark and Greenland.
Secretary of State Marco Rubio is scheduled to meet with Danish leaders sometime next week. Breaking news, there is a shelter in place for residents in Layton on Oak Lane, south of Antelope Drive and west of I-15. Layton police do not say what the shelter in place is for, but they say officers will be searching the yards and homes on that road. They're asking residents to keep their animals inside. Again, that is in Layton on Oak Lane, south of Antelope Drive, west of I-15. You have to hear this next story. It puts a whole new spin on thrifting. Some Salt Lake teens will get the chance to shop for the next dance at their neighborhood library. Salt Lake County Library is hosting a formal wear exchange where people donate gowns and suits, and then the local teens come to pick their favorites.
At the Salt Lake County Library, we are always just trying to help people access resources free of charge, right? So we know a lot of teens are attending a lot of formal wear events, so what better way to get them new outfits than to just do a little swap.
Public Relations Coordinator Marissa Hodges says if you donate, you get $5 toward library fees and some other perks.
We get a huge amount of donations. We actually, some years we've had some leftovers that we've brought to, the following year's swap. We are now starting to donate those also at the end of the year to other organizations that may be in need. But yeah, we get boxes and boxes full of donations. And every donation, I will say, no matter who brings it in, whether it's a teen or an adult, every donation receives a $5 fine waiver. So they can apply that to their account if they've had some overdue fees. And then you also get a VIP voucher so you can attend the swap early on selection day. So we reserve the first hour of the swap only for people who have donated. So they are the first to pick.
Hodges tells KSL News Radio's Britt Johnson the exchange is a big hit with kids.
Oh my gosh, they're so excited. We also try to get them excited by displaying some of the already donated pieces in our branches as we're accepting donations. So, there may be a gown on display in your branch, and maybe that's what you have your eyes on and you're hoping for. So you get there early that day. And then, you hunt down that gown or that suit. People are really excited when they attend. Lots of energy in the room, lots of hurried excitement, I guess.
All Salt Lake County libraries are accepting formal wear that's in good condition for the rest of the month. Then the actual exchange will take place on Saturday, February 21st at the County Library in Sandy. The world's biggest electronic show is kicking off 2026 with a bang. ABC's Sophie Flay explains.
The Consumer Electronics Show is kicking off in Las Vegas, and this year it's all about robots. From robots that dance to K-pop songs, to ones that will destroy you at chess, even ones that will do your laundry, eventually. But tech giant NVIDIA is more concerned with cars that can think for themselves. The chipmaker, the largest in the world thanks to the AI boom, now announcing its own autonomous vehicle software, setting up a major rivalry with another major tech company.
ABC Tech reporter Mike Dubusky, he's also covering CES. He joined Utah's Morning News today, and he says the coolest thing that he has seen so far is a robotic vacuum that can, get this, climb stairs. Coming up in the next hour, teens and money. Will they ever have a good relationship? Let's talk about it. That's coming up in the next hour of Midday.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
One man has died in Eagle Mountain after being hit by a Utah Highway Patrol trooper. The Utah County Sheriff's Office is now investigating. The time is 2 o'clock on Thursday, January 8th. It's midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. Coming up, KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera will join me with what we know so far in just a few minutes. Also this hour,
the interim government in Venezuela is promising to release an important number of political prisoners today, days after the arrest of President Nicolas Maduro.
Utah has an interesting background dealing with political prisoners in Venezuela. We'll go in depth on the relationship between our state and that South American country. We'll also get the latest on a Senate vote dealing with war powers in Venezuela. But first, our top stories. We are continuing to follow a shelter-in-place order in Layton. Police have ordered residents on Oak Lane to remain in their homes due to an active police incident in the area. There aren't many details on what that incident is, but police are asking residents to bring their animals inside. Now, this is in the area just south of Antelope Drive and west of I-15. Again, a shelter is in place on Oak Lane in Layton. The suspects in last night's shooting outside of a Church of Jesus Christ Latter-day Saints meeting house in Salt Lake City are still on the loose. Police are also now telling us the names of the two men who were killed. KSL News Radio's Adam Small has the latest.
Police have now confirmed with us the two men who were killed in the shooting were 38-year-old Sione Vatuve and 46-year-old Vaya Tuliki Hihifo. Salt Lake City Police Chief Brian Redd also reaffirmed they do not believe this was a religiously charged attack.
Our houses of worship are sacred, whatever the affiliation. We should all protect those spaces, and we should all respect those spaces.
Chief Red also told us they expect the other 6 people who were wounded to survive. One has actually already been released from the hospital. He also says they are not looking for just one suspect, saying they believe at least 2 people shot at each other.
I don't have the specific number of people involved. That's all still being sorted out, so I'm cautious. But at any dispute, there's going to be more than one person.
Chief Red says it's possible some people they found at the scene are involved in gang activity, but they're still trying to find that out for sure, and they don't know if that or something else started the fight that led to the gunshots. Police are also asking anyone who might know something that can help them to call as soon as possible. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Our top national story from ABC News. The Senate is moving forward on a resolution that would prevent the further use of U.S. military action in Venezuela. ABC's Stephen Portnoy has the latest.
The measure, crafted under the 1973 War Powers Act, aims to prevent the president from using the U.S. military in Venezuela going forward without congressional authorization. Co-sponsor California Democrat Adam Schiff.
If we don't stand up, not just for our branch of government, but for the American people, there is no telling and no stopping what comes next.
But even if both houses were to send the resolution to the White House, aides say President Trump would veto it. It would then take a 2/3 vote in both houses to enact the restriction into law. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
Your money at this moment at the close. The Dow ending up by 270 points, more than 0.5%, sitting at 49,266. S&P 500 up by just a fraction, and the NASDAQ, it's down by 104 points. Traffic and weather, and we do have an emergency traffic situation. It's brought to you by UCCU. Supercharge your savings at uccu.com.
We have several problems, and they're all big ones. Right now, we're seeing major delays in both directions in Big Cottonwood Canyon on SR 190. This is due to an earlier crash at the S-curve. They are alternating traffic, letting one lane go at a time, but continue to expect big delays and try to avoid the canyon if possible. Another canyon issue. Eastbound SR 39 is closed at the mouth of the canyon due to a crash. Expect heavy delays there as well. Avoid it and take an alternate route. And now in Utah County, we have had more weather issues come through and traffic at a stop. This is a crash involving multiple vehicles and a jackknife semi northbound I-15 at Main Street Highway 6 in Santaquin. It is blocking traffic, and we're still waiting for more emergency crews to come on to the scene. No traffic getting through at this time. Join Lagoon's construction team and help build fun. Lagoon's hiring full-time, year-round CDL heavy equipment operators, concrete finishers, and plumbers 18 years or older. Apply at lagoonpark.com/jobs. Ricky Meeson, the KSL Traffic Center.
Today, our greatest day, greatest chance for snow day. 70% still exists out there right now along the Wasatch Front. Tomorrow, that decreases to a 10% chance, and then it looks like not much precipitation for the next 5 days. 34 degrees at the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios.
The sources where we get our news matters.
When you listen to Utah's Morning News, we want you to feel the stories are important to you and trustworthy. This is Amanda Dixon.
And I'm Andy Farnsworth. Join us weekday mornings on KSL News Radio.
I'm Jordan Wilcox, your Utah tax attorney. When life gets overwhelming, some things tend to fall by the side.
I'm Carlos Sanchez from Draper, Utah. I was managing a business, helping out a business, doing paperwork and getting paid, and my wife got sick. We filed taxes, but then we got audited. And when I went and talked to the IRS, they didn't give me any choice. The IRS pretty much said, this is what you owe us, when are you gonna pay us? And we're talking quite a bit. But every time I drive, I listen to the radio. Jordan Wilcox, Jordan Wilcox. So I figure there's a reason these guys on the radio. So I called them.
Put an end to IRS collection and aggression today.
The amount that the IRS came up with, close to $250,000, and the offer and compromise was about $7,600. That's it.
This is Utah tax attorney Jordan Wilcox. Let's solve your IRS nightmare. Visit endtaxworry.com.
Go for it. The outcome, it was worth it. I'm okay.
endtaxworry.com.
Utah is one of the best places to live, work, and raise a family. But for many Utahns, the dream of owning a home is slipping away. Home prices have risen faster than incomes, and families are spending nearly 2/3 of what they earn just to keep a roof overhead. From young graduates to grandparents, everyone is feeling the squeeze. Utah needs more homes, the right kinds of homes. so families can stay close and our communities can thrive. That's why Utah Workforce Housing Advocacy created Demand More Supply, a statewide effort helping Utahns understand the issue and take action in their own communities. Because when we work together, we can make housing affordable again for today's families and for future generations. Let's make the dream of owning a home a reality again. Learn more and add your voice at demandmoresupply.com. Demandmoresupply.com. That's demandmoresupply.com.
Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. One man has died after being hit by a Utah Highway Patrol trooper in Eagle Mountain. KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera joins me now live with the latest. And Eric, what do we know so far?
So, Maria, this happened out near Lake Mountain Road and Pole Canyon Boulevard. That's west of Eagle Mountain. It's an area where the road opens up into wide fields with dirt and gravel along the shoulders, a few homes scattered nearby. There was even a school I saw not far down the road. It is the kind of place where people might feel comfortable going for a walk. This happened just after 9:40 last night. A UHP trooper was driving through the area. They say he was not. This trooper was not responding to an emergency when the trooper hit a man who was out walking with a woman. The man died at the scene. The woman he was with was not hurt. Because the crash involved a trooper, a separate team from Utah County is now handling the investigation. And then on last check-in with the Utah County Sheriff's Office just a few moments ago, investigators told us there's nothing new to share right now and that the investigation is ongoing.
So, Eric, does it sound like the guy and this woman were crossing the road or just walking along the side of the road? Do we have any idea?
We don't. You know, the details were very limited. That was really all they told us, which was these two people were out walking. The trooper was not responding to any emergency or anything like that. And that's all the details they have. But like I described, right, this, kind of looking on Google Maps, if you look at those streets that they're saying it happened, I would imagine 9:40 at night, that's dark. It didn't look like there were very many, if any, street lights. It's kind of like the small neighborhood's kind of off to the side, and then it's just dirt fields.
We don't know. Maybe just
we don't know.
Them.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Eric. That is KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera. Turning to national news now, the Senate has voted 52-47 to move forward on a resolution that would prevent the further use of U.S. military action in Venezuela. Susan Collins of Maine, Josh Hawley of Missouri, Lisa Murkowski of Alaska, Rand Paul of Kentucky, and Todd Young of Indiana joined all Democrats in passing this resolution. ABC News national correspondent Stephen Portnoy has details.
The measure, crafted under the 1973 War Powers Act, aims to prevent the president from using the U.S. military in Venezuela going forward without congressional authorization. Co-sponsor California Democrat Adam Schiff.
If we don't stand up not just for our branch of government, but for the American people, there is no telling and no stopping what comes next.
But even if both houses were to send the resolution to the White House, aides say President Trump would veto it. It would then take a two-thirds vote in both houses to enact the restriction into law. Stephen Portnoy, ABC News, Washington.
The vote comes following the seizure of two more sanctioned Venezuelan oil tankers. ABC's Louis Martinez has more on those developments on the Start Here podcast with Brad Milkey.
This was one of the ships that the United States had tried to board about 3 weeks ago on December 20th in the Caribbean. It didn't happen, and instead this ship made what we call kind of maybe a fast getaway or a slow getaway. At the time, we couldn't figure out how things were progressing. But fast forward 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks, and this ship had made its way from the Caribbean all the way up to the North Atlantic between Iceland and the United Kingdom, very far away. And all that time, it was being tracked by a U.S. Coast Guard cutter, and the expectation was, okay, what's going to happen after that ship goes even further? Is the U.S. still going to track it, or are they just going to give up? And we saw a bunch of developments take place, and eventually it all culminated in a raid, in a daring raid at really far out waters, probably not ideal weather conditions, but you saw the skill of America's elite forces in being able to actually board that vessel so far out to sea.
This was a Venezuelan shadow fleet vessel that has transported sanctioned oil, and the United States of America, under this president, is not going to tolerate that.
So the raid up in the North Atlantic consisted of a lot of U.S. military personnel and equipment, and we're talking about helicopters being moved to the United Kingdom. The United Kingdom has now acknowledged that they provided assistance to this raid in the form of letting their bases be used as launch points, and that they also provided a large vessel that may have been used by the personnel, the helicopters that were used in this operation. But it is very complex, Brad, really complex operation because these are really high-end military personnel that were being brought in to bring in the U.S. Coast Guard to this vessel. And it was really confusing because when the ship left the Caribbean, it had no flag. It was being labeled as stateless by the United States. And then towards the end of the year, all of a sudden, the ship's crew was painting very crudely the colors of the flag of Russia along the side of the ship.
Oh.
And then we learned that the ship that Russia was now claiming that it was now on their ship's registry. So in effect, this was now a Russian ship.
Wait, so did that make this way more of a flashpoint then? Because going after some random tanker leaving Venezuela is one thing. Going after a Russian tanker seems like a different thing.
Well, definitely, especially when you have that ship was really on no one's radar, and then all of a sudden it becomes a Russian ship. So it kind of makes you wonder, okay, what's really going on here?
The vessel had a judicial seizure order, and the crew, so that means the crew is now subject to prosecution for any applicable violation of federal law.
But in terms of what the Russians are doing now, they're complaining about the boarding of this vessel. And it really raises questions about what happens next, because we know that Russia has its own Black Fleet, but this is really more about Venezuela's Black Fleet.
Black Fleet, you mean like ships that sort of sail into the dark of night carrying illicit goods?
Exactly. Ships that are they're ghost ships, actually, is what they're called, because they spoof their transponders. That's how you track where ships are in the ocean. They'll spoof that they are in the Pacific Ocean, and they're actually there off the coast of Venezuela because they are secretly getting some of that oil that has been sanctioned, and they're trying to get it out to other areas. And so now we have the situation where Russia is in the forefront of this situation yet again, and it's unclear where it's all going to go.
A final vote on the War Powers resolution is expected next week. Midday continues in just 60 seconds.
Many of us not only are reflecting on the year past, but we're looking forward to the new year. And a great place to kick in the new year is at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. And of course, we're very lucky. We've got two locations. We've got Hotel Park City and downtown Salt Lake City at 275 South West Temple. Anticipate that special meal after everything calms down in early January. We all need a little bit of a boost, right? It's Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. Think of those delicious steaks that are served on that sizzling hot plate. And of course, there are other entrees as well, poultry, seafood, cooked to perfection. The side dishes are magnificent. And of course, before you start your New Year's diet, you might want to cash in on one of those wonderful desserts that awaits us at Ruth's Chris Steakhouse. This is the time. Make your reservations now. Kick in the new year with Ruth's Chris Steakhouse.
The interim government in Venezuela is promising today to release an important number of the country's political prisoners, people being held because they disagree with the government or protested against it. KSL News Radio's Becky Bruce took a closer look at political prisoners in Venezuela as part of the Hope in Darkness podcast about Josh Holt, a Utah man who spent nearly 2 years in an infamous prison in Caracas.
El Helicoide is where most political prisoners are kept.
Utah State University assistant professor Laura Gamboa.
I know that people who are kept there are more often than not subject to torture, isolation for months, or not being letting see the sun, or not being allowed to see their family members, or just a lot of secrecy.
In 2014, the public first became aware of people being imprisoned at El Helicoide as street protests became more frequent. Now, El Helicoide holds hundreds of people.
In many ways, El Helicoide, in my personal opinion, resembles some of the more iconic buildings that we have seen in these awful dictatorships of South America of the 1970s.
Gabo Valles was one of the people held in that same prison with Josh Holt, but he spent his first 2 years in custody in a different facility nicknamed The Tomb.
There's no window. You don't know when it's day, when it's night.
Gabo spent most of that time in solitary confinement and a state of sensory deprivation. The walls were painted stark white, and the lights stayed on 24 hours a day.
You gotta see in your mind like a laboratory.
Like a laboratory.
With all the light and the white walls, and the floor was black. This is weird, man.
This would be exactly Josh Holt's experience when he arrived at El Helicoide in 2016.
Very few reports came out from people inside of that prison before Josh's imprisonment, but the few that did detailed horrific abuse. Josh's wife, Tammy, had her fingernails torn off using a pencil sharpener in an attempt to get her to turn on Josh. ABC reporter Matt Gutman was arrested for trying to film conditions at a Caracas hospital and then taken to that prison.
I was actually just in one of the underground garages for a couple of hours. I'd been held elsewhere for a longer period of time, a few days. But my impression of the intelligence branch agents, this is basically the Venezuelan secret police, is that they are used to getting everything they want. They are vetted by the Venezuelan government. They are paid better. They get better perks than anybody else, and they demand more.
And that extended to their treatment of the political prisoners. Inmates who had money or other things the guards wanted could get special treatment or privileges, say access to cell phones or freedom to move about the hallways. Common prisoners, those charged with run-of-the-mill crimes like robbery or assault, didn't get the same privileges, though certainly they figured out ways to smuggle in what they wanted and hide it from the guards. It's a strange world where, like the government outside the prison, quality of life could vary greatly depending on who you knew and how you paid them. Gabo said he knew he couldn't let the Sabine break him.
You just realize that there's you and only you, and you gotta do it, and nobody can. But nobody can stay strong for you in that moment. Nobody. So I choose that.
You can hear more about the political prisoners in Venezuela, including Gabo and Josh, on the Hope and Darkness podcast. Check it out at kslpodcast.com. Teenagers and money, not always a great combination, but a new poll finds that a majority of Americans want teens to get more financial education so that they can have a better relationship with money. More on that after the break, but first, it's KSL Traffic. It's sponsored by UCCU. Transfer savings earn more. UCCU, love where you bank. Ricky?
We do have a freeway closure. Northbound I-15 is closed in Santaquin due to a multiple vehicle crash involving a jackknife semi. All traffic will need to exit at the off-ramp at Main Street, Santaquin, and use an alternate route. They'll probably just get you off the freeway. You can take a side road and then get right back on the freeway again. But for now, that northbound stretch, even though it sounds small, is closed. And the southbound side struggling as well with this snow squall that's coming through, causing reduced visibility, snowfall, and some slick driving conditions. We also have issues eastbound 39 Ogden Canyon. It is closed due to a crash near the mouth of the canyon, and a crash in Big Cottonwood Canyon by the S-curve is still blocking traffic. We're seeing major delays both directions as traffic is alternated in the area. Wasatch Front businesses and property managers. Go Pave Utah provides all asphalt repairs for your parking. For patching and paving along the Wasatch Front, contact Go Pave Utah. Go Pave Utah. GoPaveUtah.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Stop for a moment and think about this. Do you know how much money in your 401k or IRA is actually yours? Or will the government take a bigger chunk than you thought? Remember, you still might owe taxes on that money. But do you have a plan to help make sure you don't pay more than you should? At Capital Wealth Advisors, we believe you deserve to keep more of what you've earned, which is why we're here to help you navigate the confusing world of retirement taxes. It's your money. You deserve to know what's at stake. Right now, taxes are historically low, but they won't be this low forever. So call the Capital Wealth Advisors team today so you don't miss out on this opportunity. 801-210-5500. That's 801-210-5500. You work hard for your money, and we'll work just as hard to help you keep it. Capital Wealth Advisors, 801-210-5500. Advisory services offered through Capital Wealth Advisors, LLC, a state of Utah registered investment advisor. Firm may not give tax advice.
Did you know bad bacteria causes cavities and tooth decay? Did you know bad bacteria feed off residue left by sugary foods and drinks? Keep your family healthy. Your smile matters.
Be sure to brush 2 times daily for at least 2 minutes with fluoride toothpaste.
Floss once a day and limit sugary foods and drinks like sweetened juices, candies, and sodas.
Even sugar-free carbonated drinks can be harmful to teeth. Be sure to visit your dentist for regular checkups and cleanings. If you don't have a dentist, visit yoursmileutah.org for more information on community dental services. This message is brought to you by Utah Oral Health Coalition, Utah Dental Association, University of Utah School of Dentistry, the Utah Department of Health and Human Services, and other Utah health partners. Remember, a healthy smile means a healthier life. Learn more at yoursmileutah.org.
Because your smile matters.
You're listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. New polling out today shows that there's a growing demand for financial education and literacy courses in kindergarten through 12th grade. The data is showing that a vast majority of adults wish that they had gotten more personal finance education when in school. Before we get more into that story, I want to hear from you. Do you wish that you had gotten classes on personal finance when you were younger? Do you think it would have set you up for more success in life? I'd love to hear your thoughts. You can just text me at 57500. Okay, back to the story itself. Midday executive producer Andy Cupp sat down with Billy Hensley, president and CEO of the National Endowment for Financial Education, to get more on what the polling actually found.
Well, first of all, those who took a financial education class are very happy they did. 86% actually say that they consider it very valuable to their current financial life. Those who didn't, 82% said they wish they had. And this matters because those who didn't take the class, 70% of them believe that the quality of their financial life would be better. Nationally, this is considered an essential topic. 83% of Americans believe their state should require a semester or a year-long course. And then we asked a little more specifically about essential classes that should be covered in higher K-12 education. And 76% believe financial education is among those most essential courses, virtually tied with math and very close to English as well. And this is because we know that financial education increases knowledge, it builds confidence, it leads to informed decision-making, and there is a lot of noise out there, so let's ensure that every young person can launch their financial life with the tools to better distinguish between what information is beneficial and what is noise. And no one has ever said to me we should do less financial education or that it's not necessary. The question becomes, how do we do it and how do we do it well?
He says Utah has required financial courses for teenage students for more than a decade now, and that we've set the so-called gold standard for this kind of education.
You were the first in the modern era, really, to require this. It went into place probably 16, 17 years ago. It passed a little over 20 years ago. And what is exciting about what happens in Utah is that not only are you teaching it, you're assessing it and seeing what students are learning. You're making sure that there's thoughtfully designed teacher professional development, and you're learning from your own practice. And that is really informing other states. Just 5-6 years ago, we only had 9. Now we're at 30. We're hearing rumors about a possible 31 in the near future. And so we're looking to Utah, really, as an example for how to do this well.
He says one of the things that helped Utah rise to the top with these courses is the investment in the teachers who teach these classes.
Something that we tend to overlook is investing in teacher professional development. What we want to do is make sure those teachers are confident in themselves, that they feel secure in their knowledge about personal finance. And you did a nice job of that. There's dollars carved out for that in Utah, course development, and student engagement. And what's exciting is that we want to make sure that every zip code in the country, and in particular, for your audience in Utah, that we're providing equitable access for all students and meeting them where they are so that they're they're not facing the questions that you were facing about doing taxes or the FAFSA or these other complicated forms that we have to face on a yearly or maybe even weekly basis, some of us.
But he says this kind of education can't fall solely on the shoulders of teachers. It takes families and communities supporting and teaching young people about finances too.
You know, while schools and state departments of education really drive the development of things like standards and curricula and so forth, families have a role to play in being engaged in the schools, as well as families and community organizations really reinforcing those lessons. You know, it is my goal that every family, every community advocate should feel empowered to push schools to offer high quality financial education and hold them accountable for that. And simply, we need to talk about money more often. This topic and the decisions related to it should not be a mystery. You know, personally in my own life, we didn't really talk about it when I was a kid, and I wish I had more confidence and knowledge when I launched into my career. But frankly, the more we normalize conversations about finance and the more confidence we can build in young people, the more likely they will know how to better align their financial lives with their individual values and decisions and goals. No one should start a job without the necessary knowledge and confidence to maximize their salary and benefits, nor should they be ashamed to ask those questions. And parents, and really all of us in society, aunts, uncles, cousins, and so forth, can provide the positive role modeling and setting a strong example for younger adults by admitting when we don't know something and asking questions about that. Because this is all tied to being a well-informed individual and being a full participant in an economy, and hopefully a stronger economy.
Bill Hensley is the president and CEO of the National Endowment for Financial Education, talking about the importance of financial education for young people. Okay, I want to hear from you. Do you wish you had gotten classes on personal finance when you were younger? Do you think it would have set you up for more success in life? All you need to do is text me right now at 57500. I want to read a few of the texts that we've received. Steve's listening. He says, yes, 100%. Next listener says they absolutely wish they had a finance class in their early years. They didn't start investing until they were about 36 years old, but at least they started. And they say that the internet makes it easier for the younger generation than it was for the rest of us. Next person says, why? Why? So you have more money, obviously. Andy Cupp is joining me here in the studio. You did this interview today.
I did.
Your dad was pretty good at this.
My dad was really into finance. He's not a finance guy like by profession, but that was one of the things he instilled in me and my sisters growing up was how to deal with finances. We had a budget. We didn't get an allowance. We got paid based on certain chores that we did, a certain amount.
We didn't get an allowance either.
We had to buy our own clothes, all of these things that he made sure that we were set up so that when we got into adulthood, a budget, finances weren't completely
Here, I was thinking
foreign.
my parents didn't teach me that much, but, you know, they actually did teach me a few things. I would watch my mother and she'd have her budget list.
Yeah.
And I kind of do the same thing. So
Example does a lot.
Example does a lot. You're absolutely right. Thanks, Andy. It's 2:30 midday at KSL News Radio. I'm Maria Shilaos. Some of the stories we were watching this hour, a peaceful funeral service at a church in Salt Lake City turning into chaos after a deadly shooting. We have a special look at what happened last night and what we are learning today and how those who witnessed such a tragedy may need our help and support today. We also have some emergency traffic, Ricky.
We do have a freeway closure, I-15 northbound closed in Santaquin. Maria?
ABC News, I'm Michelle Franzen. Following the U.S. capture of Nicolas Maduro in Venezuela, the Senate today voting to advance a war powers resolution that would limit further military action in Venezuela without congressional authorization. 5 Republicans, Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Rand Paul, Josh Hawley, and Todd Young, joined Democrats in the vote. ABC's Jay O'Brien says President Trump criticized Republicans who broke with the party.
The president, angered by this, lashing out at those 5 Republican senators, saying that they should not be elected to office ever again in a social media post.
The fate of the bill remains unclear. Ahead of the vote, House lawmakers now debating whether to extend subsidies for the Affordable Health Care Act or Obamacare for 3 more years. Demonstrations continue in Minneapolis a day after an ICE agent shot and killed Renee Good, a city resident. Federal authorities say she threatened officers with her vehicle. Witness accounts differ from that, saying she was trying to drive away. This is ABC News.
KSL's top local stories. We have breaking news. Light and police say they're responding to multiple reports of shots fired in the area of Oak Lane. They've ordered residents on the road to remain indoors and keep their pets inside as well. This is the road south of Antelope Drive, just west of US 89. Now, police say they ordered the shelter in place while they search the area. We have a reporter on the way. We will keep you updated with the very latest. KSL's top local story. The Utah legislature has officially filed an appeal with the state Supreme Court over the state's congressional district maps. KSL News Radio's Don Brinkerhoff has more.
There are no details in this filing. It simply states that the legislature is appealing the decision of Judge Diana Gibson, who chose a congressional map that was created by the League of Women Voters of Utah and others. A decision by Judge Gibson just before the end of last year opened the door to the appeal, and lawmakers said at the time that they would be taking the case directly to the Supreme Court. A spokesperson for the courts tells KSL News Radio the notice of appeal is following the typical process, as none of the parties have requested expedited review. She says transcripts are due January 21st, with docketing statements due January 28th. Don Brinkerhoff, KSL News Radio.
Other local stories KSL is following. Utah Democratic Party is responding to hate against a recently filed candidate.
Liban Mohammed announced his candidacy for District 1 earlier this week. Since then, the Utah Democratic Party says there has been a rush of racist and religious hate, calling the response from some Utahns disgusting and embarrassing. Mohammed is a native Utahn and first-generation immigrant to Somali parents. His platform is built on affordable health care, housing, and universal child care. Representative Trevor Lee is getting a strong response after responding to the announcement, saying it's what happens when policies incentivize foreigners instead of protecting the culture. Lee tells KSL he was referencing the policies Mohammed prioritizes, saying they're not in line with what the majority of Utahns value. Alexandria Bonilla, KSL News Radio.
Taking a look at your money at this moment at the close, the Dow is up by 270 points, about 0.5%, sitting at 49,266. S&P up by just a fraction, pretty flat today, and the Nasdaq down by 104 points. Traffic and weather together. It's brought to you by UCCU. Transfer savings, earn more at UCCU. And here's Ricky Meese.
We do have a freeway closure. A snow squall came through, brought traffic to a standstill, caused multiple accidents. It's the northbound side of I-15 that is closed in Santaquin. Traffic will be exiting off near the Main Street area of Santaquin, and then you'll just follow the detour to go around. There are other crashes on both sides of I-15 between Payson and Santaquin, so anticipate a rough and icy drive there. If you're up north, SR 39 eastbound traffic is closed in Ogden Canyon due to a crash not far from the mouth of the canyon, and we've also had an accident with a vehicle on its side in Big Cottonwood Canyon near the S-curves. With that, we have heavy delays, major delays, both directions, as traffic is being alternated through the area. If you can avoid Big Cottonwood Canyon, you want to do so. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
Mornings are for recharging.
And they're for starting your day right.
We volunteer to join you in the car. Get news and weather at 102.7 FM during the most important part of your day.
Andy and Amanda, each morning between 5 and 9 on KSL News Radio.
Is your financial advisor offering you up to a 30% upfront bonus? Or are they promising you up to 10% growth per year, all for your retirement income? If not, then you need to come to Trajan Wealth. I'm Jeff Jr., founder of Trajan Wealth. If you have a plan to retire within the next 10 years, don't wait only to find out it's too late. I've seen hardworking folks like you retire only to be required to go back to work, all because their advisor told them guarantees like these were too good to be true. They're not. That's up to $30,000 upfront or up to $10,000 per year on $100,000, all guaranteed for retirement income. Don't keep working when you're supposed to be retired, and don't let any financial advisor tell you it's too good to be true. Call Trajan today, 801-207-9900. That's 801-207-9900.
Annuities, not advisory products. DBA Trajan Wealth Insurance Solutions. Additional disclosures at TrajanWealth.com.
I was in foot pain for 20 years, trying to give it relief, buying all these different insoles. Drugstore insoles, custom insoles. I spent thousands of dollars. I bought all these products, and not a single one worked. I really, truly needed to have relief in my feet. and the Good Feet arch supports were what gave me the relief I needed.
For over 20 years, we've been helping people like Teresa actually live the life they love without their feet getting in the way.
They wanted to make sure that I got something that my feet felt good in, not somebody else's feet. I love the fact that I can wear these arch supports in all my shoes. I have boots, I have cowboy boots, I have running shoes, I have walking shoes, I have flat shoes, I have heels. It makes me so happy. If you ask my husband, he will crack up because there is no store I would rather go in than a shoe store. I'm Teresa, and that's my Good Feet story.
See what we can do for you with a free personalized arch support fitting at the Good Feet store.
We have locations in Farmington, Riverton, and Sandy.
You are listening to Midday. I'm Maria Shilaos. A community gathering to remember and honor loved ones in a funeral service in Rose Park, but that piece marred by a deadly shooting. Outside a meeting house for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, a gunfight. 2 people killed, several more are in the hospital recovering from their injuries.
The fatally wounded have been identified as Vaya Tulikana Nifo, 46, and Sione Vatuve, 38 years of age, both residents of Utah.
Salt Lake City Police Chief Brian Redd speaking at a news conference this morning.
There are people involved in this incident who have been less than cooperative, and we're still working to identify all who were involved in the incident and their roles in the matter.
KSL News Radio's Adam Small was there. He joined me with the latest information.
We learned a couple new things. I mean, the biggest thing we learned is the names of the 2, and we now know are 2 adult men who were killed in this shooting. This was for what I was looking up online, this is a church building where members that speak Tongan can actually go and worship in the Tongan language. So this was a very vastly predominant Polynesian congregation. So the 2 victims are 38-year-old Sione Vatuve and 46-year-old Vaya Tuliki Hihifo. And we just figured that out. Obviously, that was obviously very deep news to deal with today, learning that 2 people were killed. I mean, outside of a funeral service, but we also have learned since what police told us last night, we're now learning that they seem very confident that they're looking for more than one person that was involved in this shooting.
Do we have any idea what led to the fight out in the parking lot?
That's still one of the million-dollar questions. Salt Lake City Police Chief Brian Redd said something to the effect of, his words I'm paraphrasing, were like, we have indication that some of those involved in this, what they described as an exchange of gunfire. So it sounds like someone, at least, one person shooting at the other, maybe more, we don't know. He said there's indication that some of those involved may have been involved with, gangs potentially, but that's still not 100% certain, but I mean, that's why they had their gang unit out investigating. But he said very specifically, we're still looking to figure out the motive for the shooting, whether this was gang-related or not. We're still trying to figure out what caused this fight and then shooting to even start.
Adam, it happened in the parking lot. Were these folks actually at the funeral before this occurred?
Still a little hazy, but it's possible. So I think Chief Redd used the words that maybe some of those involved might, it sounds like maybe one or more of them maybe had some kind of involvement in the service. I think that's the wordage he used, but it's still a little hazy. It's possible they may have been at the funeral, came outside. I mean, maybe they weren't involved at all. It's still one of those things that I'm trying to get some clarity on.
Others were shot as well. 6 other people were shot. What do we know about them and their conditions?
Yes, other big update there, and this was actually good news. So we've learned that, obviously the 2 gentlemen that passed away, 6 people were taken to the hospital. But at this point, the news that we've received is that they are at this point expected to all survive. So that's
very good news.
Yeah, good news, of course. 5 of them, as of last update, are still in the hospital receiving treatment. Salt Lake City Police say they do have officers there trying to talk with them when they're able to figure out if they could describe what happened. And then one of these 6 victims has actually already been released from the hospital. So that's also some good news there.
Okay. So do we know anything more about the victims? You mentioned Polynesian descent, but these aren't young people.
And we know all the victims were adults. And now, when it comes to the suspects, I talked with a couple people out at the church this morning as they were trying to clean up, as they were let back into what was a crime scene pretty much all night so they could pick up their vehicles, tend to the church building. I received some indication from one person who was related to one of the victims that that shooters may have involved younger people, but again, that's still working
we
to
don't have any
confirm that
idea,
for
right.
sure. But those that were shot, we know are all adults. We know we can say that for sure. But I mean, I don't know if these adults were necessarily maybe, there could have been adults that were in their 20s, but obviously the gentlemen that were killed were, late 30s and then mid 40s. Still something we're trying to get clarity on. But I mean, we can at least say we know they were all adults. There were no children hit or anything like that. But still hopeful we can get some information on suspects at some point. But Chief Red also said there have been people that have been, quote, uncooperative, and that's kind of complicating things.
Yeah. Any other clarity that we got today?
So the biggest thing right now people need to know is that at this point, there are people who shot and killed 2 men are still on the loose. And whatever involvement they had, they were involved in a very dangerous incident, and that police are still asking for help. Police still haven't been able to give us any description of the suspects or a vehicle. We know that now multiple vehicles apparently left the church afterwards. But the biggest thing to take away is that if you know anything, have any video, you've heard something, even if it seems far-fetched and you think there may be some truth to it, Salt Lake City Police, just please call their non-emergency line, because the sooner you can bring these people in while they don't believe there's a threat to the general public, and the sooner they can bring these people to justice.
That is KSL News Radio's Adam Small reporting. We do have some breaking news on KSL News Radio. President Dieter F. Uchtdorf has been called and set apart to serve as acting president of the Quorum of the 12 Apostles for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. President Dallin H. Oaks, president of the church, set him apart today. It follows the death of President Jeffrey R. Holland, who passed away on December 27th. Midday continues in 60 seconds.
With the new IHOP value menu, $6 is all it takes to go to your happy plates, where stacks of pancakes with bacon and eggs are just $6 every day. French toast, sausage, and eggs are, you guessed it, $6. And fluffy omelets come with a side of pancakes and only cost $6. Go to your happy plates every day at IHOP. $7 in some locations. Available every day for a limited time at participating restaurants in the U.S. Hours may vary. No substitutions. Not valid with other discounts or promotions. Prices may vary.
This is the story of the one. As the purchasing manager at a manufacturing plant, she knows the only thing more important than having the right safety gear is having it there when you need it. That's why she partners with Grainger for auto reordering, so her team members can count on her to have cut-resistant gloves on hand, and each shift can run safely and efficiently. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
We continue our special coverage on the deadly shooting at a funeral last night at a meeting house for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints in Rose Park. KSL 5 TV's Garna Mejia was one of the first people on the scene following initial reports of a shooting. She joined Inside Sources this morning to describe what was happening in those first few minutes.
We started hearing, we were at the station, which is 2 miles away, and just started hearing a lot of activity on scanner, and you could sense that this was just something that was not one ordinary, incident, if you will, but there was a lot happening, and it was happening very, very quickly. Even from Broadcast House, we just saw just this mass movement of police vehicles just heading in that direction. And so we got in the car and started heading over, and those very early reports, and as Glenn Mills with Salt Lake City Police explained last night, they were responding to an active shooter situation and expecting the worst, a mass casualty event. They arrived, found in the parking lot 2 adult people, 2 adult men who were deceased, 3 others critically injured, and 3 others also injured. So you're seeing this happening in a meeting house where there are hundreds of people attending a funeral. Now, what people inside that funeral were telling me is that they were there for a funeral service, a beloved community member, and towards the end of the service, they hear shots fired. They're quickly told, shelter in place, get to the gym area. Police arrived very, very quickly and started processing this scene.
KSL 5 TV's Garna Mejia there. Last night's shooting, the largest mass shooting in Utah since the deadly Trolley Square shooting in 2007. During that shooting, 2 victims, Jeff Walker and his 16-year-old son, AJ. Jeff died from his injuries, but AJ was able to recover. Now wife to Jeff and mother to AJ, Vicki Walker has made it her mission to advocate and support victims and survivors of violent crimes like this. And I spoke to Vicki to get her reaction to last night's event.
Well, it's like a gut punch every time, especially when it happens in Utah. But we're having so many shootings like this. It happens quite a bit. And my first reaction is to immediately think of the people that this affected. I mean, they showed up at a viewing or a memorial service, and they're leaving with someone that they know and love gone. And it is incredibly traumatic.
Let's talk about the victims. They're not just the victims those people shot, but everyone who was there, right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I've learned so much. The victims in our situation were my husband and my son who survived. Those are primary victims. And myself being the wife and the mother of, I'm considered a secondary victim. So there are some primary victims, but of course there were a lot of secondary victims there, and it's equally as traumatic for both.
Yeah, what would
and
you?
So,
go right
go
ahead.
ahead.
Sorry, Vicki, didn't mean to interrupt you.
Oh, no, that was just it. It's just very interesting how they segregate primary and secondary, but yet the effect to all of us is so traumatic and so strong and so horrible.
Yeah, what do you want people to know about those people who were victimized and how to help people who are victimized?
That can be a little bit tricky. I would say if I had the opportunity to speak with them, for those that lost a family member at this event, I would say first and foremost, you are in a state of compromised thought, to be quite honest with you. It's the 5 F's, fight, flight, freeze, or fawn, or flop. And the minute a trauma of this type, a traumatic event happens, your brain is compromised. You go into the 5 F's. And I would say pick somebody to be their spokesperson and to be with them in these first few days. They have to make major decisions because, your ability to think at the higher level has definitely been compromised. And it is to find someone that can help you navigate the first 2 or 3 days, because the first 96 hours after an event like this happens, you're extremely compromised. So, and then the second thing I would say is to reach out to a victim advocate if they haven't already reached out to them, anybody that was affected by this event. The victim advocates have resources. There are several programs in place. One is called want to make sure that I get it right, it's Crime Victims Reparation Fund that can help with funeral costs, therapy, any travel that's associated with family getting to to those that have been affected by this event. So as far as the community, it's basically, it's tricky because you really do want to be left alone, but it is important for you to see that the community is rallying to try and support you outside of your, what I call the wall of protection around you. So it was, vigils, memorials, activists in trying to get things changed so this doesn't happen again. That's how the community can help.
Vicki Walker is the founder and executive director of Circles of Comfort. We'll continue to follow this funeral shooting, bringing you any updates as we get them on air and online at kslnewsradio.com. Would you write your wedding vows using artificial intelligence? What a new law in Europe is doing to prevent people from doing just that, coming up next. But first, it's traffic on KSL. Traffic is brought to you by UCCU. Transfer savings, earn more. UCCU. Ricky?
And emergency traffic continues in 3 big areas. We have a closure of northbound I-15 in Utah County. It's closed due to a crash in Santaquin. All traffic will be forced at off the freeway at the Main Street exit, and then you can get right back on northbound I-15 at the on-ramp. However, we have 20 to 25-minute minimum delays in the area. Another closure, it's due to an accident. Eastbound SR 39 Ogden Canyon currently closed at the mouth of the canyon. And we also have heavy delays both directions in Big Cottonwood Canyon SR 190. This is due to an accident at the S-curve. A vehicle on its side that's been blocking traffic. They're alternating traffic to get you through the area, but it's still taking a long time. If you want to avoid the delays, you need to avoid the canyon. Wasatch Front businesses and property managers, GoPave Utah provides all asphalt repairs for your parking. For patching and paving along the Wasatch Front, contact GoPave Utah. GoPaveUtah.com. Ricky Meese in the KSL Traffic Center.
When you're making resolutions for the new year, have you ever thought of making a resolution to get a new metabolism?
So that your body is burning fat more naturally. I used to have a terrible metabolism because I didn't know what to eat or when to eat it until I did Soda weight loss. I let go of 37 pounds, and now my metabolism works for me.
I let go of 70 pounds in 5 months, and it was so nice because once that metabolism changes, the things that affected you more regularly don't affect you anymore. And those are the things that I learned from my nutritionist as I was going along and even afterward. It's so helpful. They taught me how to be successful for life.
You can call and speak to a nutritionist at Soda Weight Loss today at 866-800-SODA, S-O-T-A. That's 866-800-SODA.
Or you can go to sodaweightloss.com and see the hundreds of before and after pictures. And right now is the best time to do it because if you join now, your partner joins for free, so you get 2 transformations for the price of 1.
It's 866-800-SODA.
Because soda is, say it with me, Amanda, state of the art.
This message comes from Viking, committed to exploring the world in comfort. Journey through the heart of Europe on an elegant Viking longship with thoughtful service, destination-focused dining, and cultural enrichment on board and on shore. With small ships that bring travelers closer to the destination, there's more time to explore. And every Viking voyage is all-inclusive, with no children and no casinos. Discover more at Viking.com.
You still thinking job change in the new year? Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy. IT? Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI. That's what I did. Really? How? Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up. Sweet. Are classes online or on campus? Both. Wow, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
I'm Jordan Wilcox, your Utah tax attorney. When life gets overwhelming, some things tend to fall by the side.
I'm Carlos Sanchez from Draper, Utah. I was managing a business, helping out a business, doing paperwork and getting paid, and my wife got sick. We filed taxes, but then we got audited. And when I went and talked to the IRS, they didn't give me any choice. The IRS pretty much said, this is what you owe us, when are you gonna pay us? And we're talking quite a bit. But every time I drive, I listen to the radio. Jordan Wilcox, Jordan Wilcox. So I figure there's a reason this guy's on the radio. So I called him.
Put an end to IRS collection and aggression today.
The amount that the IRS came up with, close to $250,000, and the offer and compromise was about $7,600. That's it.
This is Utah tax attorney Jordan Wilcox. Let's solve your IRS nightmare. Visit endtaxworry.com.
Go for it. The outcome, it was worth it. I'm okay.
endtaxworry.com.
Sign up for KSL text alerts. Get breaking news and traffic updates by texting the word news to 57500. Want access to exclusive contests? Text contest to 57500. Jazz fans, text the word jazz for breaking jazz updates. And Cougar fans, text BYU to 57500 for the latest on the Cougars. Message and data rates may apply.
The Salt Lake Chamber is Utah's voice for business. Okay, that sounds great, but what does it really mean? Well, as Utah's largest and longest-standing business association, they support and champion community prosperity throughout the state. And if you're in business, well, that's a very good thing for you. Be sure to listen to the Chamber's Speaking on Business, weekdays at 7:20, 11:55, and 5:20 p.m. on KSL News Radio.
Call calling all Jazz fans. If you can't wait another second to see stars like Ace Bailey and Lowry Markkanen tear up the court, you're in luck. Tickets are on sale now. Let's go! No matter what you're looking for, the Utah Jazz has your back. With season tickets, mini plans, and single game options available, there's something for everyone. Whatever your schedule or budget, there's a plan for every fan. Don't miss a moment of the action this season. Secure your tickets today at UtahJazz.com.
You're still grooving, still connecting, still loving, still turning up, still thriving. You still got it, but your immune system, it weakens as you age. That's where vaccines come in. They help train and strengthen your immune response to fight off respiratory illnesses like flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, or COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Book in minutes at VaxAssist.com. Sponsored by Pfizer.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. No, we're not one of the big guys. Truth is, we don't want to be. If you're over 50, Big Wireless probably has you paying for more data than you might need. You could be throwing away thousands over a lifetime.
Our entry-level data plans start at just $20 a month. And for a limited time, switch and get your second month free. Call 1-888-FREEDOM, visit consumercellular.com or a store near you and get your second month free today. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional details.
AI this, AI that. How about some AI do's and don'ts? So, well, one of those don'ts might have something to do with your wedding vows. ABC's Brad Milkey has more on this episode of the Start Here podcast.
There are lots of examples proving that just because a chatbot says it doesn't make it right. But usually, the most at stake is you get embarrassed, or maybe you get an F on your essay. Well, in this case, over-reliance on a chatbot has cost a couple their marriage. This week in the Netherlands, a court ruled that a marriage should be dissolved because the vows were messed up. See, in the Netherlands, just like here, you can get a friend to perform your ceremony as long as they're properly licensed. Well, while this officiant did file the proper paperwork, he or she decided to get funky with the vows and asked this couple if they would, quote, laugh together, grow together, and love each other no matter what life brings. They also asked, will you keep teasing each other, holding on, even when life gets tough? When they said yes, that friend ratified it, saying, I hereby declare you not just a husband and wife, but above all, a team and a crazy couple. Which is cute, but apparently does not pass legal muster. According to Dutch law, the couple must explicitly swear that they will faithfully fulfill all duties of a legal marriage. That kind of phrasing was missing here. The couple argued they didn't really have any say in this. It's not like they wrote their vows. Their friend is the one who used ChatGPT. But the court was unmoved and said the marriage will not be formally recognized. It's like it never happened at all. They got to do it again. Which serves as a lesson to all of us. Generative AI might be clever, but it doesn't necessarily know the law. And unlike your wedding guests, it does not know how to forever hold its peace.
That is the Start. Here's Brad Milkey. Tim Hughes is back in for Jeff Kaplan today.
Yeah, let me just say, if you're going to have somebody officiate your wedding, make sure they know who you are and don't need AI to write
and know
your story.
What the laws are surrounding your marriage license,
Minor
so you
detail.
don't get in trouble. You know, just a minor detail.
I've actually officiated 3.
Yeah.
And the toughest one, honestly,
Yeah?
my daughter's.
Never used AI, though, did you?
Never used AI, but emotionally it was just a struggle to get through, I'll say.
Have a great afternoon.
KSL FM Midvale.
KSL Salt Lake City.
From the KSL Common Spirit Health Studios, this is KSL News Radio.
Utah's news, traffic, and weather station.
It's 3 o'clock at KSL News Radio. Jeff Kaplan off again today. I'm Tim Hughes. We've had snow most of the day, not just in the mountains, but also in the valley. And right now, light snow downtown and 34 degrees. Our top story is a developing story this hour. A shelter-in-place remains for Layton residents on Oak Lane, west of US 89, due to reports of shots fired in the area. Police say they will be searching the area yard by yard. Residents have been ordered to remain inside and keep their pets inside as well. We do have a reporter on the way to the scene, and we'll continue to bring you the very latest. Police now say that multiple people fired shots during a dispute at a Salt Lake City church last night. 2 people were killed, 6 others injured outside of a funeral service. Here's KSL News Radio's Adam Small.
We've learned the 2 men who were killed in the shooting were 38-year-old Sione Vatuve and 46-year-old Vaya Tuliki Hihifo. Police are also now telling us they feel confident there was more than one person involved in this shooting in what they described as an exchange of gunfire.
There are people involved in this incident who have been less than cooperative, and we're still working to identify all who were involved.
Salt Lake City Police Chief Brian Redd says 5 of the wounded are still in the hospital, but at this point he says they are expected to survive. Another person who was shot has already been treated and released.
We again express our condolences to the families and those affected by this senseless tragedy.
Chief Redd says they've received some sort of indication some of those involved in this shooting were involved with gang activity, but they're still working to determine the actual cause or motive for the fight and the gunshots. Police are still asking anyone who might have information or video footage to give them a call. Adam Small, KSL News Radio.
Retired FBI agent Greg Rogers says that the investigation will be a long process for police and will include a lot of interviews.
The best they can be doing right now is attempting to interview the people that are in the hospital if they're available and in a situation where they can participate in interviews. Those guys saw what was going down, so they're definitely going to want to be talking to them.
Rogers says that throughout the investigation, police will also be combing the area for forensic evidence like bullets to track down specific guns used or video cameras or businesses or cell phones that would provide more insight to aid police in their investigation. Last night's shooting was the largest mass shooting in Utah since the deadly Trolley Square shooting clear back in 2007. Vicki Walker's husband was killed in that attack, and her 16-year-old son was also shot. Walker has since become an advocate for victims of tragedy, not just lost, but their friends and families.
I would say pick somebody to be their spokesperson and to be with them because, you know, your ability to think at the higher level has definitely been compromised. And it is to find someone that can help you navigate the first 2 or 3 days.
Walker is the founder of the nonprofit Circles of Comfort. She tells Midday that there are resources for victims, including programs that help pay for funeral costs and therapy. Our top national story this hour, back to Minnesota, where officials say federal investigators have blocked